Hello, everyone. Before we get started on this week's episode, just a quick word that YouTube, in all its infinite wisdom, has decided that some of the Die Party games are now not suitable for advertising. It doesn't mean a whole lot for the content. I'm not going to censor the videos in any way, but if you'd like to lend your support so that Die Party can continue to grow, please check out the Patreon or subscribe on the Twitch channel. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Die Party Abyss, a Hollow Earth, a customized Hollow Earth expedition role-playing game right here on Twitch. We're on week number 3. Welcome back. We've got a new player to introduce today. We've got the Sheep Do back from his extended vacay of Sleepyland. And I'm feeling good about killing some fucking Nazis. I'm excited for it. I'm fucking pumped. Let's go around and introduce everyone. First up, we have Mr. Drummer Boy. What up, sir? How you doing?
Hey, doing well. I'm Drummer Boy. I play Francis Jackson, the academic that's got a badass side apparently and shot a Nazi in the chest at close range. That was cool.
Yeah. Oh shit, I haven't updated your character sheet. My bad. I'll fix that right now. Go on, continue.
What I do on the internet is basically I write music for shows like Roleplay and Roll20 and other D&D based podcasts around Twitch. So yeah, I have a Patreon that if you want music from me and you don't have the hundreds of dollars to commission me one-on-one, you can do the crowdfunded commission thing. You can vote on what I write, and I write it. It's a thing.
Drummer dude. Yes, nice.
Dude.
When are we going to see the Indiana Jones slat ripoff?
I don't know.
You don't know, Well, maybe I should give you $8 and then pester you.
Yeah.
Okay. Sheepdog. I guess you're next. I just have you in the wrong spot. My God, I'm such a professional. Let's talk about you for a second, for a hot minute.
Hey, I'm Graham. Graham Complete. So I'm playing Degerius Solomon. I thought I was going to be lost, so I haven't prepared anything yet.
Oh, talk about your life. I mean, you've been playing some fucking cheeky breechy simulator. I want to hear about that.
Yeah. Which one's that?
Tarkov, you fucking idiot.
The Tarkov one, yeah. I don't know what the fuck cheeky breeky is.
What?
I've never heard that before in my life.
Really? Cheeky breeky. Come on. No.
No. Did I miss that meme? Is that?
Yeah, it's a meme.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I played Escape from Tarkov. It is decent game. It's a little bit like how PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds was. Like, it's quite laggy and
so trash. You bought into playing trash. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I didn't buy into it. I got sent a key by the devs.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Hashtag ad.
Hashtag sponsored. Ads. Hashtag all you motherfuckers bought this game. Now tell me how to play it.
That's literally what. Like, I was streaming it earlier, and a whole load of people came in, and were like, "Hey, this is how you play the game." I'm like, "Okay, cool, brilliant." I didn't have to learn.
It's basically just you walk into a room and it's team deathmatch with one life, right? That's how that works.
It's a bit more like you get dumped in a map. There's some AI, there's some players, you run around and loot, and then try and escape the map. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really not sure if it's really, really good, or...
I think I remember I saw you, like, you looted some AA batteries or something and some matches. Like, it's just random crap that you collect and scavenge and run off with.
You can also find, like, guns, and you basically... You have a like an inventory, a stash that you can take. You can take whatever you like out into the fight. If you die, you lose it. If you if you get gear, you get to take it with you. So you can find shotguns, you can kill NPCs and take their weapons, and then escape the map, and you have that in your stash to sell or to use.
Okay.
So it's an interesting idea.
So you're basically just playing like a Russian post-apocalyptic fucking hoarder.
Yeah, it's a little bit Stalker-ish, a little bit.
I don't know. It sounds to me like you should just play Stalker.
Believe
I
me,
don't know.
I'd
It
love
looks like an updated multiplayer Stalker.
You know, the way I will say, the one thing I will say, it does have some pretty good gun porn in it, and I appreciate some gun porn every once in a while.
It really does.
So.
It's confusing gun porn. It's like wondering. It's like you see the thumbnail for a porn video and you're not sure if it's gay or not, and you're like, should I click on that or?
How can you not?
Well, some men have really feminine bodies, and you're just like, is that a dude or?
Oh, all right, sweet.
Also,
As
I played
the only non-beard here, I take offense. Excuse me.
Obviously, you can't see the face. Usually, you can tell if you see a person's face. You can tell if they're a dude or not.
I don't know. These days, it's getting harder and harder.
Also, the Guild 3, which is an awesome game.
Guild 3? Oh, right, yeah, okay, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. No.
It just came out on early access, and it needs a lot of work, but it's basically an upgrade from the Guild 2, which I really enjoyed. So
nice. All right, next we have our new player that we need to introduce. Jordan, aka Nullspark. How you doing, sir? Why don't you tell the world about what you do and who you are and why you like pulp, I guess.
Sure, yeah. Well, I was kind of baptized in pulp by working on 3 BioShocks, mainly on the spookier stuff within them. And then I quit and started an independent games company, and we made something that is not at all spooky. It makes fun of video games, basically. And for fun, I run a permadeath D&D campaign called Dice with Death. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
It's YouTube only, but I'm a big fan of the pulp genre. I've never played this particular game or system, but it looks like a lot of fun. I have a desire to punch Nazis like any red-blooded American.
Yeah, so we'll get into playing your character, talking about your character a little bit, but because we're going to run through a little bit of character creation with you and make sure everything is kosher. But have you, did you do any, pulpy research coming into this? Did you watch any, movies or anything like that? Or?
I watched both games that you guys have played so far. I watched a really cool old documentary about Jerusalem in the 1930s. Read the rule books, that kind of thing. I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark again for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Because you guys kept singing the
Honestly,
theme song.
you don't need to give an excuse. You can just say, I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark, and everybody's like, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I tried to watch that with my future wife the other day, and she was like, I hate Indiana Jones. I'm like, what? So,
Temple of Doom's a little weird.
Yeah, that's like the first one, right? Yeah. Well, future wife, because it's like a week away. Okay, Jesus fucking Christ, it's getting close. So, fuck. All right, Doc Gast, my man, welcome back. How's the homeland? Has it exploded yet?
It's cold here today.
It's like 19 degrees.
It's like
ooh.
No, it's like 24, 25. I like it.
Nice.
I have pants on. That's how cold it is.
You know, I learned today that you've never worn shoes. So that's fun.
I have worn shoes, just not recently. I don't wear shoes. If I can at all avoid it, I do not wear shoes. But there was mud, so I put shoes on.
I'm wearing shoes right now.
Shoes in the house, man.
They're slippers. They're fucking comfy.
Okay, they're not shoes. You wouldn't wear those outside, or maybe you would.
I use it. I fucking take the trash out with these things sometimes, man. So
I spent the last 3 days wearing one sock.
On
like
both feet,
on
or-
both feet.
No, like just one sock on one foot and then a barefoot on the barefoot on the other. It's something really, really satisfying about just wearing one sock. I can't explain it.
No.
Trust me, try it.
Is it like a heat thing? Is it just like I'm
Yeah, it's
cold
like when
and
you-
hot, but with one
like when
sock
you're
on,
too
I'm
hot.
in the middle.
No,
It's like when you're trying to sleep and it's too hot, so you stick your foot out at the end. You know?
yeah, exactly.
No, it's nothing like that. There's something very, very satisfying about only wearing one sock.
I think that would fucking infuriate me. Like one foot sliding on the floor and the other one having full traction, and you just like you're all over the place. Nah, I don't think I could do that.
Trust me, man. Try it sometime.
One is his pivot foot, and one's his fucking like freedom foot.
Freedom foot.
All right.
No freedom foot, come back.
What have you been up to? What have you been up to, Doc? I mean, anything in particular? Playing any games? Anything like that?
I mean, I've been playing. I played some Minecraft.
Get the fuck out of here! Why the hell are you playing Minecraft?
I was playing the Invasion mod pack, which is basically Minecraft without mining. Like mining's pointless. There's nothing under the ground. It's all about exploring old bases and like raiding abandoned bases, stealing their shit. There's constant AI players spawning in and coming to kill you, and
Okay.
it's
See,
pretty cool.
that sounds interesting to me. Like,
yeah.
Minecraft to me is just like, do whatever you want, have fun. I'm just like, fuck that, give me structure. I need substance. Don't just drop me into a world and say, make your own fun, asshole. No, I'm not into that. I get maybe 2 hours in, I'm just like, well, I built a fountain, kind of looks like a dick. I built a house, it's awful. I
Also
dug
kind of
straight
looks like a
down.
dick.
And yeah, that's my experience with Minecraft. I always do that. And
Yeah, I think I would be the same if I never played vanilla Minecraft, but there's so many different mods and mod packs that all create little interesting sub games within the game that there's after a couple of months you can go back and find something new to do in it.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, and last but not least, we have Mr. Graham, aka Graham Complete, aka Always Be Making. What up, sir? How you doing? Tell us about your week.
Making stuff.
Yeah. What are you making? What's your latest Always Be Making?
So in Dungeons and Dragons, there's a magic item called the Drift Globe, which is basically just a ball of light that floats around behind you.
Yeah.
I'm making that.
Like you're making it float and everything?
No, unfortunately, that's a bit of a challenge.
I mean, you could make like a see-through stick attached to like a fishing line and hook it into your back.
You're not wrong, but I wanted it to basically the mechanics inside make it too heavy to be wieldy at all.
Mm. Is it like are you making it like a kind of like a glow stick where like it lights up like chemically, or like is it like LEDs? Like what are you doing?
Have you ever seen those like night lights that project the stars onto the roof?
I might have one in my room because I'm afraid of the dark. You don't know that.
So it's basically got basically 5 batteries that fit inside a light fixture. And attached to that, I'm going to put a very bright light bulb. The batteries are going to power the light bulb. And then over that, I'm going to put a blue filter and then a screen. And the screen is going to have a bunch of like mathematical designs and numbers and stuff on it. And they're going to go along the inside, which is what the picture looks like. So that's the idea. So that's happening. I basically made a schedule, and I've got like 1 video a week on basically it's chugging along. That engine is working.
Yeah. You seeing any growth or anything like that from like because creative stuff on like I've only ever seen the gaming and like maybe like cartoons and shit like that on YouTube. I don't really venture out of that much.
Well,
so
people who make stuff on YouTube, we're talking like millions and millions and millions and millions of subscribers, like 15 million subscribers. Like, I mean, there's a ton of people out. There's a huge market for that, but I've actually seen more. I imagine the more it's very new. So the more I do it, I'll see. I actually saw like a huge uptick in growth for my other channel that I stopped posting videos on, which is weird, but that just happens. Yeah. It's like 600 views overnight or something.
Whoa, shit. Okay. Maybe, you know, I would watch a video of you telling me how to smoke bacon
Yeah. Why is that?
because Poland is all about like unsmoked bacon.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's nasty bacon. Like, give me some fucking pink flesh, not this gray shit that comes out of a fucking pork. But anyway, guys, we're gonna play some fucking Hollow Earth. How about it? You want to do it? Who's ready? I'm ready. Let's fucking do it. All right.
We talk about numbers first.
Yeah. So as we jump into it, we're gonna do some stuff. Let's first go around and see if any of the existing players want to upgrade, buy things, whatever. Graham. Yes, you in the back. What'd you like?
Yeah. I'm confused. I want to buy a specialization in firearms for handguns or the pistols, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
How do I reflect that on the character sheet? I know it costs 3, so I spent that 3.
Okay.
But how do I make it go on the sheet?
Okay, so basically you add another skill line, and it's called firearms handguns, which I see you've done, and you basically just add your levels into it, and the rating is both the total rating from firearms and your levels from handguns.
Okay, so 9 total, I guess?
Yeah. So basically, it adds your firearms skill, and then it adds your specialization in handguns. And then when you have a handgun, when you have a pistol, the pistol, the actual damage of it, the attack mod, the attack section will be your firearms plus your handguns plus the lethality or the damage of your gun. So if the pistol is an extra 2 is too lethal, you add an extra 2 dice on top of that, so you'll be rolling 11 dice for a handgun. So
Okay, I got it.
yeah.
Where's the attack mod? Where is it derived from?
It's from the sheet. So the mod is, I don't know what they mean by that on the sheet because it's not really mentioned in the role playing book at all. But I assume if you get like there's a science, like a mad scientist expansion for this, and I assume that includes like modifying weapons to do like bonuses or something like that. So I assume that's what it's about. But yeah, but it doesn't really do anything mechanically if you put a number in there. So I think it's mostly just there for keeping track of numbers and stuff like that.
I think like if I'm going to go down that easy, I need to take some people with me. So that's why I did that.
Nice.
And now I just need to save up to get another point of strength, which is not going to be very.
Not going to be very hard. Yeah, you just do some pull-ups with your Derringer or whatever, and you're just like. Ugh. All right. Anyone else want to buy something? No. Okay.
I wasn't here
so
for XP last
when
week, so
when we increase a specialization, is that so? Skill increasing a skill is new skill level times 2.
Yeah.
So if I've got 1 point in
It costs you 6
firearms,
points.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's only 2 levels of specialization that you can get. It's also worth pointing out, Graham, that you would take if you roll, see how you rolled the double Derringer.
Yeah.
See this, you'd take the result from the speciality line because it has the that'll explode the 10s that come into it. So the first level of specialization, you explode the 10s. The second level of specialization, whatever difficulty I say, we reduce it by 1. So if it's like a 5 difficulty, you shoot at 4, right? So it'll make it so that your dice are a lot more effective.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So right. Anyone else? No other purchases? Nope. Okay. Cool. So let's go to our new character, Imago Gideon. Did I say that right? Imago. Imago Gideon. All right.
But your accent may vary, so it's like.
Listen, Australian accents are gonna fuck up everything. So let's just quickly run through what you've got here. So your archetype, you're picking the occultist, which is really cool. It's pulpy as fuck. Now, can you elaborate on your motivation real quickly? Like, what is motivating your character here to
He is obsessed with discovering the source of his psychic ability, which he vaguely understands to be coming from below. He knows nothing about Hollow Earth. He doesn't think it's hell, but he's been told that it is. And so he will stop at nothing to discover that secret and sort of really any adjacent secrets. So his motivation by the book is truth.
I love it. Like, you've inherently made an paranormal investigator from Call of Cthulhu. Like, that's what it sounds like you've done. Just a little bit, which is great.
Yeah. If at any point you want to drop some tentacles on us, my guy will be ready. Otherwise, he's just going to be wrong a lot.
Okay, cool. So your motivation is truth. So basically, the way that it works in the game, if you act like an occultist or act on like your motivation, more motivation than your archetype. Like if your role playing is focused around being an occultist, or motivating your character to do things that you don't want to do, but it's based on the fact that you want the truth, then you'll get some style points. So basically, you spend style points on a variety of things.
Chairs,
yes.
Oh God, yes.
Fucker.
The bench.
Yeah. Let's see here. So style points, you can boost your dice. So you can spend 1 style point for 1 dice on a single roll. You can increase your talent. Now talents are like, like you have, so you'll get 1 talent at the start, which is, I believe you're picking Psychic Affinity. There is no upgrade for that essentially. But like some talents are like, like add 1 to your dexterity, right? So you can spend 2 style points to increase that to 2 points for the scene, right? So it's just for the scene of like the combat scenario or whatever it is. You can spend 2 points to reduce the damage taken by 1 point. And I'll give you plot opportunities later on, which would be like, okay, if you spend like 2 style points here, I'll let you shoot a blunderbuss like a fucking mortar through a train. The other thing is you also get style points based on your flaws. We'll go through that in a second. All right. The next thing that we need to look at for your character is you got your primary attributes. You have 15 points for a 1-for-1 basis. It looks like you're going stacking charisma.
Yeah, because of I also spent my starting XP on Captivate, which requires you to have very high performance, which requires you to have very high charisma.
Interesting. Okay. So you've done your secondary attributes. Let's see here. Let's just make sure that you got it right. Strength and Dex. Yep. That looks good to me. Perception, int, and will. Yep. Initiative, Dex, and int. Yep. Defense. So the way that we kind of went over a little bit in the last episode. And I'm sure you saw it. Sometimes there's active defense, and then there's like a passive defense, and passive defense is like just your body and that. So basically, active defense is with dexterity, and passive defense is without. And that's pretty much all you need to know there. Stun is body, and health is body and willpower.
Yeah, I haven't added health yet, I guess.
Body, willpower. So you got 4 health. So you down the bottom, you see the wound tracker there. Down the bottom, there's a maximum that you can put in.
Oh, yep.
So you just put 4 in, and then at the top there, you put current as 4 as well. The way that healing works is you don't die until you get to -5. And you don't go unconscious in this game. You basically just become helpless, essentially. So you can still act and talk to a degree. You won't be able to shoot your gun or anything like that because you'll be focused on not bleeding out, for example. But you can make preventative measures to save yourself. Because that's probably right. You can use your arm to
rip a sleeve off and
save me.
Yeah.
make a bandage out of it.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. I'm like the one thing I don't want to do is like outwardly like kill your character just because of rules. I think that is a silly way to go. Like if you get shot a bunch, sure, you'll die, but I'm not going to be like, well, you didn't do anything, so you're dead now. I'm not going to do that. That's dumb. Skills, you've picked quite a bit here. So you have 15 points. So for every half point, you can get a specialization. So of all these specializations picked correctly?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, I went through the math a bunch of times. I don't have a lot of ranks, but I have some specialization and some low rank skills.
So I'm not entirely sure how, like, this is the one thing I'm not really privy to, but I'm going to say that craft specializations, you have to pick a specialization with it, but there's no base attribute. So I don't know, like, you can only have 2 levels of specialization, so I'm just going to count them as... like you always get the D10s, but like there's no real that's the one thing that they don't really mention here. Like academics, crafts, art, that sort of stuff, you require a specialization to have it. So I'm just going to count them as a normal skill. So they upgrade the same way that a normal one does. You don't get those bonuses of specialization on it, but you can level them up however you like. So because they're very focused, craft is very focused, you don't get the extra bonus. So
do you want me to put the star there for just sort of bookkeeping, or
no, it's okay. I sort of understand looking at your roles here. So you've got investigation. Did you take a level of interview?
Yeah, a specialization in interview, which is one of the variants, because he's kind of only brought in for profiling, and that just means access to people who are already incarcerated usually. Okay,
so you've got 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, and then you've got 1, and then you've got 2. Okay, yeah, I see that. So the way that it works is your investigation, you'd put another level in there. So you'd go like that, and then your rating would be 5. So when you roll, you basically add your base rating of your investigation and your interview together. So when you roll when you're interviewing someone, you just click that ball there, and
you got it.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Your other one is detect lies for empathy, which is really cool. You've got firearms, rifles, which is cool, and you've also got stealth disguise. So that's a pretty rounded character. Performance, interesting. So that's not a specialization. That's just generic performance right now.
Yep.
But I guess
he'll only be using it for hypnotism and impersonation. The other, like, he's not like a charismatic guy that like charms people, but he is a very practiced hypnotist and impersonator.
Sweet. Okay, and let's see.
I may eventually specialize, but I need more points.
Yeah. So you got talents and resources. So you've got you picked your basic character creation. You picked psychic affinity, which doesn't do anything other than open you up to the maelstrom of the psychic, just being able to pick up psychic wavelengths and stuff like that. You don't get any like special powers, but it's just kind of pulpy, You'll be able to like look into people's psyche, maybe just get a little hint every once in a while, but nothing like game breaking or anything like that.
Yeah, I figured it was at the GM's mercy. I just couldn't not take it based on who I'm ripping off from pulp.
Yeah. So you've got starting experience of I believe additional 15 plus. So you have 21 points that you can spend here on top of this.
I'm sinking 15 into Captivate for an additional talent and leaving the rest because I desperately need to get Headstrong someday, assuming I survive today.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Captivate. Let's take a look here. What that actually says. Talents. Captivate.
It is the closest thing to cool magic that I could find in the book.
Your character is a magnanimous and attractive performer. She is able to capture the attention with her performance abilities by the sheer force of her personality. Benefit: As an attack action, your character can make an attempt to entrance her opponents during combat. Make a performance roll against all opponents within 10 feet of your character. If you roll more successes than your opponent's willpower rating, he is beguiled by your character and unable to attack for a number of turns equal to the number of extra successes you rolled. That's fucking insane. An entranced opponent may defend himself normally, but the spell is broken if he is attacked during this time. Okay, that's not so bad. So basically,
it's like sheeping a guy in WoW or something, you know, like you hit him, it's all over.
Yeah. If you roll more than twice your opponent's willpower rating, he is completely enthralled and loses his active defense rating for a number of Oh, that's kind of cool. That actually, that's cool.
I figured Hyde could like finish that guy quickly or something, you know.
So
like if I crit.
I'm wondering if you were like do this to a group of 5 Nazis, are they going to and you attack one of them? Is it the one you attack that breaks out, or is it the entire group?
Oh, it made it seem like it was the one, but that may have been me just inferring from other games. Yeah. Maybe it's. I mean, you know, that might be up to you.
Well, it says the spell is broken if he is attacked during this time, but it also mentions specifically he, as in one person. So we'll go with one person for now, mostly because like it's fucking hypnotism. That's pulpy as fuck. Like I imagine it just being like, you know. They just kind of do whatever. All right. You may buy this talent for 3 times, giving your character +2 performance for each additional level purchased. So this is what I was talking about. If you spend 2 style points, you can increase this and give yourself 2 additional dice when you roll it. So just keep that in mind. You also start with 1 style point at the beginning of the game.
Okay.
Now, you've also taken some flaws here, but we can only take 1 during character creation. If you wanted to take an additional one, I believe you can. Let's take a look here. Okay, I don't know how you buy flaws, but I guess they just come naturally later on. Okay. So yeah, you can have 1 flaw at the beginning. So which one did you got? Obsession and superstitious. Which one did you want to go with?
I'm fine just role-playing the obsession. I mean, everybody needs a reason to, like, it warns you early on in the book, like, have a reason to go to Hollow Earth. So I can get rid of obsession and stick with superstitious because it's way funnier. Like, his version of superstition is flipped. Like, he does all the stuff that gives you bad luck, like breaking mirrors and all this kind of crap. And so, like, it will probably create problems, but in his mind, it's necessary.
Okay.
So, but I can't see how to delete a line.
I just go modify, and then it'll come up with a red trash icon.
Excellent. Done it.
Cool. All right. Great. All right. So languages. Did we work out what that was last time? I'm gonna look that up.
All I knew was that the other players had like a million languages, so I was like,
okay.
Maybe not.
I think didn't you say it was 1 language per level?
Yeah. I there's a rule about it, and I don't remember how to find it. Let me just find it because language, because it's important.
Linguistics.
Right? Linguistics. That's right. It was actually a yes. It was a fucking skill based thing in linguistics. Yes. Okay, linguistics. Okay. Do you have a linguistic skill? I don't think you do.
I do not. I mean, if this adventure, if that's like suicidal, given where I think he's supposed to be starting, maybe he'd either have a native guide, or I could wipe out something and add in linguistics. But my thinking was that he had not overly invested in that.
So 0 points, you only have English. If you put 0 to 1, you get no additional, and 2 points in linguistics will get you 1 additional language.
So you're saying I have 8 experience points left, right?
Yeah. Or how many did you spend? You spent 15?
Yeah.
So you would have 6.
Okay, so 6 left, and it's 2 per rank after character creation. Is that
Yeah.
right?
It's your rank times 2. So if you go to 1, it'll be 2. If you go to 2, it'll be 4. That sort of thing.
Rank times 2. Okay.
Let me just double
Yeah,
check that.
I
for
think
you.
I'll spend 2
It gets
to
very expensive very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think, I mean, so based on what you told me through direct message stuff, like maybe it would be insane for me not to have German. So maybe I have English and German. So I'll spend 2 ranks to get 1 additional language.
So you're
Is that
spending
right?
what's that? 6 points. Yeah, that'll give you 1 linguistics for 2 rank 2. Yeah. All right. Cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's
Because
weird. So you have to, if you have to go from 0 to 2 to get an additional language.
no, yeah. So yeah, basically. But the first
Okay.
level of linguistics, like you can use that to like try and decipher stuff or like read things. I mean, even if you don't understand the language, you can attempt to decipher things, right? So linguistics is pretty much how that works.
It's also used for things like cracking codes and stuff like that. Things that you wouldn't necessarily consider a language.
Yeah, like mathematics and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
I'd accept linguistics for a mathematics role, even if you don't have mathematics. It'd be harder, but I'd accept it. All right, cool. I think that's pretty much your whole character, right? Let me just finishing touches. Nope. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yep, you took a floor, so you get 1 experience, 1 star point, and yeah, cool. All right, so let's jump straight into the actual play session then. All right. So last time, adventurers, gentlemen adventurers, basically were sort of they caught the ire of their Thule Society companions. And they basically raised suspicion level to almost near maximum, to the point where no investigation outside of the watchful eye of the Thule Society Nazi soldiers was allowed. Because of that, they were sort of hamstrung and dragged to a train that was bound for Jerusalem. Within the first step of their trip, their train was attacked by Arab rebel forces in the area at the time. More on that this episode. Keep your eyes open for that. The train was derailed. Everyone was doing some flips and shit. By the way, Sheep, I'm gonna need from you a body defense roll. So basically, roll defense minus your dexterity. Real quickly for me, please.
Defense minus my dexterity.
Yes.
Okay. So how do I do the minus dexterity? Is there a
Yeah. So
It
basically,
should
whatever
pop
your
up with the-
whatever your dexterity rating is, just put in your mod minus that.
okay, minus 1. Difficulty?
4. Okay. Cool. So you take 1 wound, bashing.
Okay.
Last time we said that dear Charles Cromwell Attenbury wasn't with them.
Abernathy.
Sorry. Wasn't with them, but I'm going to make that not the case. He was in the other carriage? No. Cabin. For some reason, I just lost the word in my mind. He was in the other cabin with the main clump of Nazi forces, along with Woodbury.
Just teaching them how to play bridge.
No, they were not having it most of the time. So maybe we can get like a real quickly like a flashback to that. So you and Woodbury are sitting in the cabin, and surrounding you is 6 soldiers, and they're all sitting there in like stone silence, just sort of looking at you. What are you like? You and Woodbury just like eating like cucumber sandwiches and drinking tea?
Yeah,
or something
just
like that,
drinking a little bit of tea. It's like, Woodbury, whip out the cards, will you? I fancy a game of bridge. Come on, chaps. Need 4 for this. Anyone in?
9.
No, 4.
I was going to make that joke, but I was like, no, it's too obvious. Bad sheepdog.
As a man who is completely illiterate, with Woodbury being your linguistics expert, I would understand you making that confusion. But yeah, like it's a very awkward. I don't know if Charles is like, a high enough level of intelligence to understand how awkward the situation is.
He has no idea.
Okay, so you guys, do anything. And there's a nice a teapot, bubbling, like steaming away, when the train derails and Woodbury takes a brunt of it. He lands on his shoulder, his arm snapping. He now has a broken arm. You take, you flip, you're perfectly fine for a lot of it, except the tea lands in your crotch.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Making it look like you've not only wet yourself, but it also burns your
Scalds
your genitalia region.
My royal jewels.
Yes.
As it were.
And for the most part, you spend the entire combat scenario essentially.
I take my trousers off to dry them. I hang them up to dry them. I'm like, Woodbury, can you make sure these are dry before we?
Yeah, I also like the idea that this is combat in the background. Like, no, I took, and then like a big explosion goes off. You hear like horses neighing in the background, and Woodbury's just like holding his, like he's basically just making his own sling out of like some fucking shirt that's in there. There's like blood like dripping down into like the room that you're in from all the Nazis getting fucking destroyed by these people. But yeah, that's where we sideswipe, and we go back in time about 2 hours. We join Gideon. I'm just going to call you Gideon. It's so much easier. We join Gideon. You're on horseback with some Arab nationals, some rebels, and they're all dressed up. I forget what I looked this up the other day. And I've forgotten what it is, but the headdress that Arab, that Arab men wear in the military, I forget what it's fucking called.
Burqa, turban.
No, it's not that.
The
Flat cap.
Kafiyaka? Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, kafika or something like that. It's like a kind of like a turban, but it's more like Lawrence of Arabia style.
It's kind of like a dishcloth with a strap.
Yeah, and then they can put up like a thing over their mouth and nose. But let's get a physical description of what Imago Gideon looks like. Like you're on a horseback, you're looking very stoic.
He is dressed all in gray. He's got a wide brim gray bolero, which is like tied under his chin with a strap, probably multiple scarves around his mouth just because sand.
Mm-hmm.
He's in gray silks. He's got what look like mirrored sunglasses, round, that he probably made himself or at least fitted.
Mm-hmm.
He under his sunglasses is something potentially interesting, but that probably happened like as people encounter him. He's got one blue felt glove, which occasionally he's not great on a horse, so he's occasionally like trying to keep up with these much better riders, and that blue glove has the sort of Hamza ward against the evil eye on it.
Nice. like on the palm, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
And he's got a cane, which is probably strapped down, I would think, and a rifle wrapped in cloth on his back.
Mm-hmm,
And yeah, he's as you say, sort of stoic, but not a great horseman. He's got reasonable dexterity, but he can't really keep up.
Yeah.
He's probably trailing behind them a fair bit.
Yeah, and I imagine that there is, is there any particular reason why you've hired these men to come after this particular train? Like, you've probably heard that, the Thule Society have agents making their way into Jerusalem, and you've probably spent a great deal of personal personal money, trying to attempt to bring to find where these people are. It's kind of like finding. It's not so hard to find the white dudes or like the the what are they called? Blue eyes, white, blonde hair of the
Aryan.
Aryan. Thank you. Yes, the Aryan looking dudes in Jerusalem, and they came. They were spotted earlier today at a God. What is it? Oh, hang on, I got the picture here. At Joppa. That's what it is. The coastal city of Joppa. You caught word of this, of them making a landing here. With that in mind, you basically you saddled up like quickly and you made your way from Ramel, which is a town in between Jerusalem and Joppa, where you were sort of following leads related to because you've known Sir Wesley for a while. You've probably been accosting him with questions and bringing up his knowledge and your knowledge and trying to like piece together things about your particular set of skills. Would you have alluded to him about your psychic tendencies or anything like that?
I think I would have indicated that I was interested in any pieces of, like the fragment of a clay pot or something with engravings that suggested mental powers in an ancient people. I don't think I would have come out and told him.
So you're more of an investor and collector. All right, interesting.
Yeah, he knew he was the academic, and he was the one who might have helped me find what I think distantly are my people. But I think it was fairly non-fruitful. I think he probably thought of me as a big weirdo.
About 2 months ago, you received a letter, a correspondence from Sir Wesley. In it was simply a note that stated, my friend Imago, thank you very much for your ongoing support throughout the years. Without your financial purchases, I would not have been able to make as many leaps and bounds in my studies as I have. I've come to a bit of a problem. I've alerted the wrong type of people about what I'm digging into, and it seems I've struck a nerve. I'm sending you something that might be useful in the future. It might not, but I would rather put it into the hands of someone I know than, well, the people who are after me. Take good care of it. And remember, the Thule Society is watching. Be careful, my friend. And that's all you have. And you basically have this codec. And what it is basically a lot of gibberish and scribbles. You've attempted to find people with linguistic prowess to sort of break it down. But essentially, it's no language you've ever seen. From what people can tell, it's sort of just like, well, it might help us decipher something of this language, but we don't have anything there to do it. So a lot of this has been fruitless. Sorry.
Since my character has no wealth, I'm actually, I think it's sort of fitting that I probably poured all of my fortune down Sir Wesley to no avail.
I mean, as far as you know, he's the closest that anyone's ever come to finding anything about, particularly your heritage, which is the main reason why I assume you're investigating as much as you are. For your great-grandparents believe that they were, from a city that has since been devoured by the earth itself, Atlantis. And, you grow up with the stories of your grandparents from their parents telling you about this great land of, healing and mystical powers, where the long dead animals of the yesteryear run around like they're non-extinct. People picking fruit from a tree and having the fruit grow back instantly. Just almost tall tales that have enraptured your entire life, essentially. So right now you have information. The Thule Society have made a landing here in Joppa. You've managed to piece together a way to derail their train. And we join you right now as you're sitting on a sandy embankment, like a sand dune, like atop a sand dune. The train has, runs into the explosion. It derails. And inside the train itself, surprising, literally you and your entire companion force of 5 other people, just gunfire erupts from within the train itself. Not at you guys, but within the train. What do you make of this?
Well, I think I look at the nearest agent of the Black Hand folks.
His name would be Abdallah. That you'd know. He's the one that sort of translates for you for the most part. He's been the one that's sort of taking your money greedily to your, for the most part, you've been here for maybe a month or so, and he's just I'll take your money. And this is the first time he's ever borne fruit for you, essentially. So,
okay, I say, looking at him, and kind of pulling a scarf away, I'll say, subtle. We discussed keeping them alive. I cannot read the dead yet. And I just sort of squint, through my sunglasses down at the action.
Yeah, and he sort of turns to me and was my friend, do not worry. The guns inside that are going off, that is not us. They seem to be having a dispute within themselves. Maybe us tipping the train was a catalyst, the straw that broke the camel's back.
I look dubiously at the train because you were saying it's hanging off a bridge or something.
No, it's a flat landscape. It's basically just they blew up the train track, so the train is on its side, flipped over. At that point, you see a man climb out of the train, and he's got this humongous rifle, holding it, and he's just running like a crazy person across the sand. And you watch him as he jams it in the sand and just blows a giant hole in the train with this enormous weapon that you've probably never even considered being a thing that you've seen before. And Abdullah turns, he's watching, he's like, Allah be praised. This man is crazy. What have we gotten into?
So I assume, actually, do I perceive from this distance that the guy doesn't look like a Nazi, that he's not wearing a uniform?
It's pretty hard to tell at this distance, but we can make a perception check. Your perception is actually pretty fucking high.
Yeah, as I'm doing this, just as a matter of general safety, I'm unwrapping my tranquilizer rifle and sort of chambering a single syringe.
Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and make a roll. I'm going to say the difficulty for this is going to be 6. So go ahead and make a perception check for me.
So that means clicking the die next to the perception value under secondary attributes, yes?
That's right, yes.
Okay.
And since you don't have a skill for this, so normally what you would you would roll a skill, right? And anytime you roll a skill or you attempt to do something without a skill, you take a -2 die to the roll. So that's why skills are important, because your secondary when you roll a primary attribute, or maybe perception is on its league of its own. Let me just double check that real quick.
Yeah, I thought perception was an attribute rather than a skill.
Yeah.
Is it -2 die or is it -2 base?
It's die. You just remove die from it. Okay, interesting. Attributes. Let's take a look here. Perception. Okay. 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 Yeah. Just roll it without the -2. So
And you said difficulty 6?
difficulty 6. Yeah. Okay. So you got 4 successes. Yeah. I mean, Francis, what color hair does your character have?
Like dark brown, kind of blackish.
Yeah. He doesn't look like any Aryan you've ever seen before.
I say, tell your men that these are not to be harmed. Look for uniforms. I need at least one Nazi alive.
They all nod and they start to run down the hill. They get off their horses and run down the hill with their rifles at the ready, essentially.
Okay. I don't know these guys that well, so trying to be as in character as I can, I'm not gonna be like, "Hey, everything's fine." Like I am observing.
Are you going down or are you staying up on the hill?
I am watching to ensure that that sort of no Nazis pour out with like heavy machine guns or anything. I'm not going to run pell-mell over the desert. As a matter of fact, I'm probably off of my horse by this time and looking over the dune down at them.
Yeah, so you get off your horse and you start to make your way over to the edge of the embankment of the dune, and you look down. At that moment, 4 Nazis, clearly Nazis, like we're talking like blonde as the day they were born, spew out of the back of the train, and your men just raise rifles and just shoot them dead, and then they start to make their way into the train. You notice that the man out on the sand dune has been ignored.
Okay.
Either they forgot that he's there, or they got distracted by the fact that Nazis poured out of the back, pointing pistols at them.
And he's alone, right?
Yes, he's alone for the most part.
I will call down to him and say, "We're not here for you."
So yeah, Francis, you hear the sound of a. What would you be your nationality? American?
Oh, Imago's?
Yeah.
Imago was definitely exposed to America for a long time. He doesn't remember the first 6 or 7 years of his life really at all, but he thinks of himself as sort of an American expat.
Okay, interesting. You hear a distinctly non-Arabic man talking to you.
I was in the train at the end of last episode.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I was shooting at the back of the guy when.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Yes. Scratch that.
Maybe that was the moment where someone like called my name. They're like, "Hey, you!" And I just look around like, "Huh, no."
Yeah. So you sprint to the back of the train at that point, and you climb through. Gideon, the man that you attempted to converse with has ran into the train.
Okay. At this point, I guess I will begin to approach stealthily because I was trying to make peaceful contact. But if he sort of scrambled back in, then it would be stupid for me to stick my head out too far. So I'll try to creep down to find another person who is not a Nazi.
Okay. How long do you wait? Do you wait for your men to jump into the train, or do you go in?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think just because I don't want to walk into machine guns, I would have done that anyway. And they were to bring me at least one living Nazi as well.
Yep. Okay. So you guys in the train. You have a little bit of time before the gunfire that you heard outside will obviously make its way inside. What are you guys attempting to do?
I think I'd be tending to Solomon. He's down still, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
he's got one hit point or something.
He's got 1 hit point. He managed to salvage his, wreckage body.
Yeah, I'm good. I have one. That's good enough.
What's your maximum?
So if you stabilize now, you can turn those lethals into non-lethal damage.
Yeah. So at the end of combat, you essentially just sort of magically heal because of pulp. Let me just make sure I understand how that works real quick.
I'm pretty sure you have to turn them into non-lethal by actually doing like
That's fine.
a medic check.
I mean, I am a medical doctor.
Yeah, so let's see. What is the skill you have? Medicine? Yeah, okay. Let me just make sure I know how this works. Medicine, okay. Okay, covers diagnosed treatment, blah, blah, blah. Characters with a skill are able to treat illness, tend to wounds, and save people's lives. Okay. Alright. What is your rating in medicine?
11.
So you're apparently a world famous doctor, which makes sense, given your ability.
Favor.
Yeah.
Talent. So all of my every dice that I succeed on heals a lethal wound.
Oh yeah, that's right. So you have that talent. What was it called again?
Lifesaver, maybe. Let's look. Yeah, lifesaver.
Lifesaver. Okay, let's take a look here.
Oh, here it is. Healing, page 131.
131. I just want to see what lifesaver does real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, the character is a gifted healer. Touch is soothing, and she has amazing ability to treat wounds. People under okay heal much quickly and cleaner than normal. Your character heals 1 lethal wound for 2 non-lethal wounds per success on your medicine roll. So your character heals 1 lethal or 2 non-lethal per 1 success roll. Okay.
Wow, that's really strong.
Yeah. What was your what would you say? 112?
131.
131. Okay, thank you.
From the sounds of it, he's going to be able to just completely patch himself up fine, like it's nothing.
Right, I do the thing where like a dog dries himself off, and then I'm fine.
You just shake.
I'm okay.
131. Okay, here we go. Okay.
Can I just roll my dice?
Okay. When properly administered, make a medicine roll to treat your wounded character. Each roll success deals 1 point of non-lethal damage or converts 1 point of lethal damage into non-lethal. Non-lethal is healed before lethal, representing the shock and trauma of the person's wounded. First aid takes 1 minute to perform, must be administered within 1 hour after injury to have any benefit. Up to 1 hour. Okay, so so you can basically your lifesaver ability basically makes it so that you can just let's read that again real quick.
It just doubles the successes almost, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes it so that he can do you heal 1 lethal or 2 non-lethal wounds per success. So what does your current health wounds look like? They're all lethal, right?
Yeah. 3 lethal.
Okay. So go ahead and make a medicine check real quick.
So yeah, I like go and pull my meat cleaver out of the door.
Yep.
And like I do like this weird, like you guys don't have no idea what I'm doing. I'm like scraping blood off my body. I'm like spitting in it. Like I'm doing all this like miscellaneous medicine stuff. What's the difficulty?
5. Yo, just so you know, medicine roll will always be. And you have a speciality in this? Or no? Okay. So 5. Yeah, so you can heal up to 5 wounds, I guess.
Yes, I'm fine.
Yeah, so that takes a minute of time. Was anyone else wounded in this battle?
I reload my gun also.
I do have 2 lethal wounds.
Okay, but he won't be able to, he won't be able to heal you.
Yeah, I'm not sticking around though, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm not worried.
The second it's clear, I'm going for my rifle.
Which is outside.
Show like your
the rifle, not the blunderbuss, the rifle, the one that's still in the carriage.
Okay, yeah, cool. So
I'd still like tell you like your blunderbuss is outside. That thing packs a kick. Holy shit.
Yeah. You know the sound of a car when you turn it off and it like ticks down? That's what I imagine the blunderbuss is like because it's so hot.
Ticking.
So yeah, at that point, I guess Sheepy, you I guess Charles and Woodbury come out of the hole. But
I
yeah,
assume I've dried off my trousers and got them back.
Can I take a peek out a window or something?
Yeah, absolutely. So you
There's
guys,
a big hole in the wall you can look through.
yeah. So basically, well, let's get that stealth roll from you, Null, and we'll see just how you'll be competing here. So this is just a straight, you're not disguising, you're straight stealthing, right? So
That's right. Yeah, there's no time for a disguise. So it's a difficulty of what?
well, it'll be 5.
Okay.
Because the way the default system is still in play here. So whenever I say 5, it basically that's the default difficulty for competing against another person. So which you're going to be doing. Okay, 2 successes. All right. Graham, can I get a perception from you, please, with difficulty 5?
Oh, whoops.
Okay, yeah. So you see a man who's wearing all grey, skulking his way up to the... Which side of the train are you going to? The same entrance that your friends went in, or the other one?
I would probably, go in behind the human shields.
Okay, yeah. So you see a man skulking down from the sand dune, as well as I guess the tail end of a couple of Arabic soldiers coming in from the back, where the Nazis ran out. So
The other, a different end of the train.
yeah.
I'm gonna just alert the party that we're gonna have company here in a few minutes. So get your stuff together.
Okay.
I'm already working on it.
So yeah, I'm gonna say that everyone can be ready aside from Doc. You're still climbing out of the room when they come back in. That's what I want to say.
Okay.
So yeah, basically, 5 Arab men come busting into the room, holding the guns up and screaming in Arabic. Does anyone here speak Arabic? Yep. So Solomon, you understand as them being like, surrender Nazis. Basically, they're just screaming that over and over again.
I'll yell back, "We're not Nazis."
In
We're
Arabic?
very much-
Yeah. Okay, so you see confusion cross their eyes, all of them.
Very much non-white.
Yeah.
I'm very Aryan.
Yeah, you're sort of olive skin. Yeah, I forget. Yeah.
African.
Yeah. So yeah, the confusion sets across their eyes. And that's when I guess our friend Gideon comes up to the back. You see them basically pointing rifles down. Essentially, the train is tipped upwards. So imagine a hallway on the left is now the roof, and you guys are sort of walking on the cabin entrances, and basically in the floor is the doors for the cabins essentially. So you guys are sort of standing on windows and stuff like that.
So
and
not knowing, well, I can speak for free, right? Or is it?
yes,
Is it...
absolutely, yeah.
Okay, well, I saw him respond to them in Arabic, which I don't speak.
Mm-hmm.
I then say, aloud, calling kind of over them, "Do you work for the Thule Society, the Nazis?"
Talking to me?
In English, yeah.
No, I say, "Are you talking to me?"
Say yes.
That was the.
Technically, we kind of do.
Yeah, well, no, okay. Well, I understand. I say that was the plan, but the plan's off apparently.
Excellent. I'm here to interrogate them. They have something I want. I have no quarrel with you.
Well, you may have to run them down.
There's one German soldier left over Sekler. He's laying on his stomach. He's got 2 bullet wounds in his legs. And he's just sitting there just he's got a boot mark on his face. And he's just sitting there just going... He's just laying there. He's completely... he's Aryan as fuck, right? If the other ones are slightly Aryan, this guy's the brightest blue eyes, the blondest fucking hair you've ever seen. Chiseled jaw, straight features, He's basically BJ Blazkowicz looking motherfucker. So, but yeah.
So there's this one. And I boot him in the face again.
I say, he looks a little used. and I begin inspecting his wounds just stupidly. Like, you
Like
can tell
prodding
that
them.
like that saving lives is not my business, and I'm like,
You like stick a finger in the bullet wound. Does this
yeah,
hurt?
there's a little bit of a now how much does this hurt kind of thing. Like, I don't want him to die, but you've probably seen lots of like residents who don't know what they're doing, kind of like dancing around a patient.
Yeah. Can I get a read on this Gideon fella?
Sure. Let's get a empathy check from you. Do you have
Okay.
empathy? Or
Yeah.
You do. Awesome. Okay. Difficulty here will be 5. We can defend. So you also have. I want to say like, what would you want to defend with here if you don't want someone to like read everything about you? Like, what would you defend?
I mean,
with?
I have performance in the form of lies, or I've got empathy detect lies, which obviously is in that arena. He's not actively staying super poker faced here.
Mm-hmm.
He does not want to fight anybody he doesn't have to, so it's kind of undefended, honestly. Like, it would be sort of like whatever he gets with his rolls, because I'm not even looking at him now. I'm looking at the Nazi like, oh, okay, that guy's about to go.
Yeah. Basically, what I'm trying to get at is who's like, is this guy like better or worse? Is this going to be the same situation but with a different rapper? Or I'm actually gonna, at the same time, while I can look at him, I'm like, I had my hand up when the guys came in with guns, and I'm gonna, when he bends down at the Nazi, I'm gonna put my hand down.
Yeah. So let me get an idea here. Do you wear anything visually signifying that you're with the Terra Canum?
No, I mean.
Do you have like a necklace
society
or something like that? Like.
No, I mean he would, but there's a very good chance that a scholar would recognize the protection against the evil eye, the Hamza symbol on my glove, which because I'm kind of fumbling with this patient, I'm not taking any pains to conceal.
So if I catch a glimpse of that, can I roll academics history and see?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sweet. 5 for difficulty.
All right. So with your empathy and with your academics, like Graham Solomon, do you have any understanding? Like, yours is more medical background and stuff like that. If you see the symbol, does it register that maybe you should turn to your companion? Francis?
Based on my skills, I think I would just kind of turn. Once I see there's a lot of weird stuff going on with this guy, so I'm going to turn to somebody who would know. So I'll look at this and I'll kind of like motion down, like a shrug, you know.
Yeah.
I guess, like, what do I know about this with that role? Like, what I just know. Like, do I make this up fictionally, or what do I actually know about it?
I name dropped the Thule Society, which feels like the biggest sort of like slip so far. Maybe like, you know.
What was the name of the hand on your glove?
The Hamza.
Hamza, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll just be like, is that a Hamza?
So for the first time, because I don't think I actually saw you outside, or if I did, it was very brief. Like, I now look past the doctor, the one-armed doctor who's like stands out here, and see you and say, "Indeed, good eye," and sort of smirk.
Yeah, so what you know about it is basically that a lot of Jews, Christians, and Muslims believe it to be protection against an evil entity, basically. It's very superstitious, sort of like religion-based superstition. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll be like, I mean, I guess the Nazis are kind of evil, but are you worried about something, sir?
These are no mere Aryan supremacists. These have deeper, older beliefs. He takes off his sunglasses and looks at you, and now just like he has very pale eyes, and weirdly, like, probably, I mean, I don't know, it's fairly dark in here, but maybe you see there's a little bit of blue color that looks like it's faded, and it's on the middle of both lids, which are open and looking at you right now. And he says, I I am charged to oppose them in their endeavors. These want something, and I was told that a good friend of mine was being hunted by them.
Okay. Hide. Are you back in the main hallway? Are you hiding?
What I was actually thinking would have been good is when they came in. So they came in from behind.
Yeah, the same way
So
that the
they came in
Nazis
this
left.
way. I was going this way to get to my rifle, and the hole in the wall was here.
Yeah.
So what I'm actually thinking is maybe I got to about there when they came in, and while everyone was kind of doing their conversation, I just throw myself through the wall.
So you're leaving?
Yeah, through where the blunderbuss hole is.
Okay,
Because
sure.
it's already busted up, and I want to just jump through there and get to my gun.
You want to go to the... Okay, so the blunderbuss basically made like shrapnel holes in the wall. It didn't make like a giant hole that
Yeah,
you could
but
fit through.
it would have weakened it. I
Yeah,
think I can
100%,
probably-
yeah.
I can probably power through
Well,
it.
shoulder charge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going for the blunderbuss? I thought you were going for the rifle.
Well, I was going for the rifle, and then a bunch of armed Arab men jumped in through the back of the train. So now I'm going for the nearest gun.
Okay. All right. How do you bust through it? Like shoulder charge, kicking before jumping through?
Yeah, shoulder charge. Just throw the full body at it.
Okay. Yeah. So do you have any star points?
I do. I have 4.
Wow. Okay. Go ahead and spend 2 of them to break through without taking any wounds. But also before this goes off, Gideon, this happens sometimes in your life. Like maybe you walk into a room and you can feel echoes of the past, or you see like people for what they really are. Sometimes like when someone tells you a distinct lie, like you can see what their true intentions are, even if they don't, say anything or do anything to outwardly give you that perception. However, this is the first time where like your vision clouds. It tunnels essentially, and you see for the first time something incredibly strange. All 4 of these men that you've been introduced to, aside from the German on the floor, everything sort of darkens. Their features, their faces, everything darkens. But the thing that sort of shines through is their hearts, and the blood pumping around their body starts to radiate towards you. Like you see their cardiovascular systems in their body like sort of appear like incredibly bright before your eyes. And this is something that you've never seen anything like this before at all. These men are unique. That's the perception that you're getting. These people, there's something about them that you're not aware of, and what's like this sort of vision is probably the most intense that you've had with your psychic phenomenon. What would your reaction be to something like this?
Well, I think I would immediately conclude that maybe the thing that Wesley was trying to protect was them, or that they are somehow the important cargo that the Thule Society was trafficking. So okay, so
I go, Tony, you okay?
Yeah, you're kind of like zoned out a little bit. Like,
so you see my eyes close, because I imagine it's darker in here anyway. The sunglasses were already off. You see my eyes close, and there are tattoos, very old, faded blue tattoos of coins on each eyelid. My eyes are pretty large, so it gives you this strange like flash for just a second as I like stagger. I then like probably drop my gun to the floor, the tranquilizer gun, which was never up in the first place, but just drop it. And then I say, our business is concluded. Be gone.
and that moment, fucking Hyde Shoulder
Just
charges.
throws himself through the wall.
Throws himself through the wall, catching the ire of the Arab men behind him.
Fuck.
But you have an opportunity to calm the situation if you would like, Gideon. But given that you've sort of hired these, rebels to do essentially this.
Okay. Well,
But they're reacting to a man who's clearly going for a weapon. What would you like to do?
well, surprised by Hyde, I probably just say, "Wait, we need not fight," and it may be too late. If I beat their initiative, I would try to enthrall them.
Interesting. Okay. Why don't
If it helps,
Yeah.
I'm grabbing the blunderbuss and then running down the train towards my rifle. I'm not grabbing it and climbing back in the carriage. Like it might even very well look like I'm just running away from inside the train.
Yeah. But as far as the Arab soldiers are concerned, there is a man escaping, and it's kind of like how like a cat will react to things moving quickly. It's a little like that. Like they're just on high alert. They just probably killed some Nazi soldiers. They're feeling the blood tingling.
Yeah.
Like they want
The
to do more.
adrenaline's up.
Yeah.
And as I turn, I see the vascular system illuminated in Hyde too, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then I just say, "Idiots, out of here!" And I point. Our business is done. This is a live Nazi, at least for now.
Abdullah will look at you and he's like, "Would you
Then
want
I
us
say,
to
"Don't-
leave you
don't."
completely?" Or like,
Yes, gone. Like he's a little rash. Like he doesn't care that they were his guide. Like he's worried now about armed men upon armed men upon armed men. So he says, "Don't tell them the idiot path. Just go."
okay, it's your coin. I will see you back at the homestead. And he reaches out an arm and does like a shake or something like that, if you allow him. And
Yeah, like staggering, still staring at these special folks. I return it like kind of limply and then just like regard them for the moment, kind of struck mute.
Well, while he is turned around to kind of regard the Abdullah, can I use my foot to kind of like step on the tranquilizer gun and draw it towards me that he dropped?
sure, yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to do that. It is it's a rifle though, so it would take two hands to operate.
I would definitely try to oppose that one if I perceive it.
Sure. So let's get a stealth roll from you, Solomon.
I'm still
You don't have any
Dexterity.
stealth? No? Okay, I believe stealth is dexterity. Let me just double check. Yes, so give me a dexterity with -2. And we'll see how it goes.
5, 4.
5, because it's competing against another person. So. Okay, I guess Gideon, give me a perception.
Perception 5.
Perception 5, yeah. Ooh, close. It's very swingy. Like you can roll 11 dice and get 2 successes in this game. It's okay, yeah. So you look down at Solomon, I guess, reaching with his. Now you notice one arm only reaching towards it. Like, how are you reaching for it? Are you using your hand? Are you using your foot? Like, what are you doing?
I said I want to step on it and then drag it like.
Okay,
basically drag
yeah. All right, so he steps on it and starts to drag your rifle towards himself. You see him doing this. What do you do?
I will attempt to stop it and pick it up, but with my other arm still out, and I say, "That's not going to be much use to you, is it?"
Did the airmen leave?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're making their way out. Yeah.
All right, I'll put my gun at him.
Okay, so he points a derringer at you, Gideon.
Says so.
Hey,
I
until
think-
I'm clear of the situation, let's just all relax. You mentioned a friend. This wouldn't be Sir Wesley, whatever his last name was.
Well, the large eyes pop wide again. Yes, you know him.
Do you? The question is, do you, and why?
He was helping me find my homeland. I patronized his research. He knew many things I do not. I say, but he was not special. I believe you, and I look at all of them that are in the current car.
Except for Woodley. What's his fucking name?
Woodhouse.
Woodrow.
Yeah, Woodbury.
Woodhouse.
Woodhouse.
Woodhouse. Yep. I say most of you are something entirely new.
All right, I'm intrigued. I'll holster my gun.
I think I'm like,
I make no move to pick up the rifle because nobody needs to escalate at this point. I just blew up their train, and I'm feeling very out of my depth, like I hired the wrong guys.
Yeah.
I'll even say that to him. I'll say I'm intrigued, and then I'll holster my gun.
Okay.
when he says from his homeland and Wesley's trying to help him, I'm like, I don't know if I say it out loud. I'm like, you're from Hollow Earth?
I don't know that term. I turn and say, Wesley was a careful man. He never used those words. But my grandparents left stories of a place that sunk beneath the waves or into the sky. The stories conflicted.
Oh, Atlantis. That would make sense.
And as you look at him now, like he looks like an exact, like annoyingly exact racial midpoint. He looks like that Time magazine cover they did where they sort of simulated like the future of America with all possible. And it's like he's not particularly handsome, but it's like almost a mannequin of all of those influences. And he doesn't really look like he's from anywhere clear.
Fair enough.
Well, since you're the only person I've ever known to even claim to be from somewhere else, what does Everlife mean to you?
And at that point, we flash over to Hyde. You're just like running along the train or something like that. Like,
reloading the blunderbuss as I go.
You just piling rocks into it or something? Like, what are you doing?
No, I think I probably have
Shot?
little
Yeah, you have blunderbuss
paper
shot.
capsules where you jam those in there.
I imagine it's a lot like a string of like, you know, like pennies when they come in like the paper.
Yeah, it's something like that.
And you
the
sort
way
of
they
crack
used to
it
do
and you
the,
just sort of just pour it in there, you know?
Yeah.
I imagine it's a lot like that, but I've never seen a blunderbuss be reloaded, so I imagine you just jam shit in there and it just fucking sticks and then
I
make
think
a seal.
That's
Yeah.
about right. Yeah.
Okay, so what are you doing? Are you climbing in to grab your rifle? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the carriage where we left our stuff so I can get my rifle.
Oh, it's not too hard. There's a giant fucking
This
hole.
Luger is not good enough.
Yeah, there's a giant hole in the wall where, like, almost into the shape of Francis Jackson. Like, you know, like, yeah. He jumped
Okay,
through.
so
Can I tell Chuck to go collect him?
Chuck?
Yeah, Charles.
Oh, Charles.
I say, oi, Chuck, can you go collect what's his face?
Who's what's his face, old boy?
The guy with the guns.
Oh, yes, that one. Yeah, but whatever for?
He seems like a
Idiot?
Well, yeah, that too.
Well, I was kind of hoping for a spot of tea, but
Yeah, there's the horn, the tippy cup of your kettle just like on the ground in front of you, and it's like,
today. I think he went to go get the tea. So
Oh, well, jolly good then. Come along, Woodbury. And I wander off with.
He's like, "Sir, perhaps you should maybe listen to what this man has to say."
Oh, nonsense! They're talking about Zool and hollowing earths, and it's all poppycock. Come on, let's go.
He like turns to you, Gideon. He's like, "My apologies," and then he'll like slink after I guess Charles.
And as I'm walking out, I'm like, "And bring along the tea for God's sake."
That is impossible, sir. The tea is in fact destroyed.
Ah, damn and bother!
So Hyde, you reload all your guns and then you jump back into the what are you doing? You have all your weapons. You have
cool.
a Luger.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw that away.
German artillery.
As soon as I got my blunderbuss, I just threw it.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Mm-hmm.
It's useless crap. Automatic pistols. Who needs them? Right. So I've got my guns. I'm back in the busted train cart. All the Nazis in there, all the Nazis that were in there came down to us, right? There's no more Nazis left on the train.
They're all dead. All the Nazis are dead, except for
Okay, cool.
Except for Sackler.
So I'm going to climb back out of the train and start making my way back down with the rifle ready.
Okay, well they were in the hallway of the train that's flipped, so you can just climb up through the roof, through the cabin again, and join them.
Okay, yeah, that works.
You can probably hear me stomping down the train.
Yeah, if you're coming in, then I'll go through. If you're coming in to me through the train, then I'll go down. Yeah, that way. And
I'm just walking down the train shouting.
Right.
Yeah, that works.
So we go back to the important conversation. What are you three talking about?
say, "Oh, so what are we looking? What are you looking for? Maybe I can help." Motioning to the body, near almost body.
I want to know what he desired with Wesley. And do any of you have any medical training? And I just look doubtfully around. Okay, I look back right at your face, like you were right in front of me, and I was just looking anywhere else. Say, can you stabilize him at least?
I can do more than that. I can do whatever you need me to do. I can heal him up to full. I can kill him. I can, chop off a leg.
Gideon, how much do you read? Do you read like, Time magazine or whatever? Like, do you read like publications and stuff like that?
Yes. So Imago wants to develop a sort of vigilante identity one day, and so he's trying to figure out what's wrong with the world and eventually fix it with occult powers. So he probably reads as much as his sort of travel schedule lately has allowed.
Yeah.
But he spends a lot of time looking for specifically magical texts, even though this world doesn't really support that on the surface.
So I like the idea that we get a picture of you on a boat somewhere going wherever, and you've read through all of these texts and you stretch and you look over. There's like a Time magazine. It's like using another man's skin. Medical sciences, weird. And you go into it, and there's like a really bored looking Gideon photograph, black and white. Not Gideon, Solomon photograph in black and white, and he's just sitting there. He's like, interview with a mad medicine man, and it's just like. My
thing's all about regenerative healing, like whatever. So the lizard in Spider-Man, whatever his character's name is, basically realized my character is him.
So I would say, dear Lord, you're him. And I just step out of your way. You may do with him what you wish when I'm finished.
Are you finished?
Well, I thought he was still actively bleeding out, so no.
I
Like
mean,
I don't
he
think
has-
he can answer.
He's basically all kinds of fucked up, right? He's got like bullet holes in his legs. He's not in the process of dying, but like
I think the way it works is if he doesn't get stabilized, he will die.
essentially, yeah. He has 1 HP, but both of his legs have been shot. So
With my 11 medicine, can I try something pulpy?
Does
Why,
it
yes,
involve a
Graham.
gorilla arm?
I'm going to take my cleaver and I'm going to ask. Do you speak German? So I'm going to tell him in German. Well, I'm going to cut a vital artery. And I'm going to say you'll die in 5 minutes flat, unless I decide to save you.
okay.
His questions need to be answered, and then I'll save you.
Interesting. Let's get a medicine roll from you first to see if you can actually accomplish this feat. I mean, I know you're completely capable of it, but given your surroundings and the situation that he's in, and maybe like this is more like you competing against his current health status. We'll see how you go with that. So give me a 5 for your medicine.
I have a surgical kit. I don't know if that helps me at all, but I have all my tools and everything.
Yeah.
So difficulty.
5. Oh yeah, no problems. Yeah. So yeah, you sort of lean in, and you,
It's sternum.
yeah, you just like.
And I tell Gideon, you have 5 minutes.
I take a small pocket mirror from what looks like a stack of them out of one of my satchels and hold it out to the Nazi, and I say, "There we are, good." And then I throw it against the ground, smashing it into pieces. And I say, "Now, your soul will take quite some time to find me." And I say, "What was your interest in Wesley?" Be
I'll translate.
He speaks
Oh,
German.
I have German, yeah. But only
Oh yeah,
German.
I forgot.
I didn't even speak Arabic. The guy who would have helped with that just left.
Yeah.
Say the question again, sorry.
What was your interest in Wesley? Be specific.
So the now wide-eyed Private Seckler looks up at you and he's like, "Wesley? You mean that British man?" Sorry, I'm trying to get my German going here.
That was not close.
That was not close. No, it was not.
It was an accent, so
Yeah.
it's a start.
It's a German. It's a British man. He's like holding his like blood trickling between his fingers. He's like, he is just a man who has information. His death, it was so pointless.
Did I know he was dead? Because you told me that I just knew that these guys were on his trail.
No, you did not know he was dead.
Okay, so there's a certain brief sadness, and then and his murder. You said pointless. You were there.
I heard of it. They wanted information from him, and God, he didn't tell them much. His notes. That's it.
This time I look at Degerius and I say, "Notes? He gave you notes?"
Yeah, I'll
Yes, we took what we could from his laboratory and his study. There was nothing left. There was just bits and translations, and these men, they're the ones who know.
I give a sort of meaningful look, like not in front of this idiot, but I clearly want to show you something. I say, "What about these? Had you any special interest in these?" And I point to everybody who's in the train car.
He'll sort of look around and he's like, They are more just specialists. What are you talking about?
Very obvious frustration now. The sort of coins appear again briefly as I close my eyes, pissed off. And then I say, you brought these men halfway around the world for a purpose. Whether he lets you live or die hangs entirely on whether you can describe that purpose. I will know if you're lying.
So he just sort of looks at you and his eyes go wide a little bit. It's like, Führer Hans recommended them.
At least we have a name.
So the name,
I step back.
you actually know a man by the name of Hans, but his name, but the only thing, like, actually no, you don't know. Sorry, I'm trying to connect the two here. You don't know anyone who goes by the name of Hans, but and the name Führer Hans doesn't mean much to you. But is there any like the other players? You know this man, obviously, as the American agent who worked internally with them, and that's your connection to these people.
I'll tell him that.
Yeah. So what do you say exactly?
I just say like our contact, like a label, basically.
And where is this man now?
I guess he's still back in England. Did he come here with us?
No.
Yeah, I guess he's still back in England. Last time we checked.
I look a little confounded. I say, and they now to you, like, he seems like a mook at this point. It doesn't seem like he has any idea. I say to you, and they gave you no indication of why you were assembled.
Just this, and I, motion to the journal again.
Okay. With that, I walk well out of eyeshot, like into another car, I guess, or wherever we can get that the Nazi doesn't have direct line of sight, and I show him the codec that you had mentioned that I have. Okay.
Yeah, so basically, all your efforts translating this journal has ended in not frustration, aside from the successes that you've managed to obtain. The missing piece that you guys needed was some sort of like translation device or a codec or something along those lines. And it seemed like there was portions of the journal that were removed and missing. It seems like this Gideon fella has given you the missing piece, essentially.
All right, I'll go stop that guy from bleeding. So I go, and I kind of like lean down on my knees behind the guy.
Yeah, he's like going pale. He's just like.
I put my right hand in the small of his back, grab him around the neck right here, and I sort of like I just kind of like jerk him back and yank the fever out, which will stop the blood loss. And then I want to make a medicine roll to stabilize it, basically.
Cool. Yeah. So he'll be at a -3. So you're gonna have to roll this with a -3 dice.
Difficulty 5.
Difficulty 5. Yeah. Okay. Great. Perfect. Yeah. So how do you stabilize the man? You just like suture his wounds, or?
I can. I was thinking. I basically. Well, basically, right now, in order to stabilize him, I'm just going to basically try to knock him out. Like give him. First of all, I sort of give him a sedative of some fashion, like a chloroform, basically, and I knock him out.
Mm-hmm.
And then that will allow me to work freely. I rip open his shirt, and I begin to.
Yeah, there's a big stereotypical swastika tattooed onto his chest.
He's got the whatever. He's got the Dakota ring and So I basically build a clamp with the seat next to me and my knees, and I'm basically holding him together. And then I'll very quickly with one hand on my teeth suture up his sort of gaping sternum wound.
Actually, it's not a swastika. It's sort of like a tilted swastika with a dagger in it.
So
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
That's done. And then I just leave him where he is, and I go and. So what did he hold up exactly? Like, does it look like an object?
It's basically a part of the diary that it's sort of like, the way I describe it is sort of almost like a rubbing, almost of like some sort of like tablet or something like that, and it's sort of like basically it was stapled to a piece of paper inside the diary, and the paper was pulled out, but the rubbing is about the size of like a big map almost.
So while Dejarius is doing that, would I have like access to the journal? Like, I've had a little bit of success translating stuff, but this.
I
could
mean,
help
probably
out.
not at the same time, but due to the course of how things are going, you could probably just say that you guys are sort of looking at it around and making your checks or whatever you want. So
Mhm.
Yeah. So I'll. Okay. Cool. So me and Gideon and Francis, I guess, are kind of ignoring the other two guys.
Charles is probably just sitting there lamenting his broken teacup.
Well, I assume I met up with Hyde and told him everything was tickety boo.
Mm-hmm.
I think I probably wasn't really paying attention when you spoke. I handed you the rifle and said, like, hold this.
Okay.
Holding the blunderbuss, I continued walking just straight past you.
Mm-hmm.
All right then. Well, job done. Forgotten his name now. Job done, Woodbury. Bloody hell, you've broken your arm.
He's like looking at you, and he's kind of look a little pale, and he's like, "Thank you for noticing, sir."
Oh well, let's get back to the doctor. Here, take this gun and let's go.
He like takes it with his only good hand. And he's just like, "Very well."
All right.
How about we take a break, gentlemen, and we'll come back after the break, and you guys can make all your checks and see what secrets this journal can uncover for you. All right.
Wait, so...
What's the plan here? What do you want to? What you have all the clues to decipher the journal now.
I want to put this stuff together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Linguistics.
You have a higher linguistics, so I can do like an academic's history again and try to like match stuff together.
So let's get some let's get some linguistic stuff going. So what is the attempt? Like, what are you guys trying to do here? Exactly. Give me an idea.
Codex to. My assumption, thinking about this as a real person, if I'm role playing this correct, like the way Solomon thinks, I'm thinking that the words are out of order. Okay, or the letters may be out of order. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is basically reorient or rethink, use the codex to reorient the story, so to speak.
Okay.
And I'm going to take his words and run them like through what I know about ancient history and ancient civilizations to see if anything makes sense.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. All right. What about other players? Is Gideon or I guess
I
Hyde?
am actually I am not an academic, and I was not able to make hide nor hair of the my version of it. So I'm letting the fellow who looks slight and bookish take over. and but I am monitoring them all psychically based on that crazy flash of insight that
Yeah.
I got about all of them. And just sort of generally also a little bit worried about the big fellow who took off. Like I keep sort of looking around, but I'm saying aloud to Dejarius, all that with one arm. They cropped that out of the photo. Fools. They missed the point entirely. Because you just like sutured up a guy, like you just stabilized a guy with one arm, like
Yeah.
it was spectacular before the break.
I'll look at him kind of like a stern expression in my eyes, and then I won't say anything, and I'll just kind of go back to what I was doing.
Yeah, we get a flashback to the scene as it's like, maybe you can put a pot plant in front of you where your arm is missing. Most people won't understand, and then you just like whatever. Like
They end up like drawing a fake arm on one of those see-through cellophane sheets and putting it in front of the camera so it looks like it's
superimposing an arm. I like
Anyway,
it.
so what difficulty for this linguistics do you want?
Well, the last one I made you guys roll was an 8, but that was because you didn't have information. Now that you do, I'm gonna say this is about this is more like this is more like how long it takes you guys, because you have all the pieces of information and you're all smart gentlemen, except for maybe one of you. The inevitability that you will succeed is high. This is more to decide how long it takes for you guys to do this and whether or not you can do it in this now turned upside down train after a recent explosion in the middle of the desert, basically. So this is more like, let's say like a 6, given that, if you were to say take it back to a hotel and spend like 2-3 days doing it, you would get it done. You would unlock the secrets of the journal. Okay. Yeah, so let's say that for every success that you guys get, it sort of reduces the number of hours that you spend poring over these texts and, being like, oh shit, this means this now. Like, you're sort of basically unlocking it, like, word for word or page by page or however you want to do it. Maybe you're you're actually constructing like a rudimentary alphabet so that you can read things. Like, there's a lot of things that you guys are doing to make it work.
I've got the map out.
Yeah. You guys are mixing everything together. Your whole text on religion and your understanding of like, the life giver and stuff like that. Adam and Eve and all that sort of shit is coming together. We get that gif of that lady staring off into the distance with mathematical equations going around her head. But yeah, it'll probably take you guys a good maybe 5 or 6 hours to pour over this text to do it. Whether or not you want to do it here or whether you want to try and find a more suitable place to do it, you looking at what you have, that's the sort of length of time that it would take.
I think I would be in favor of like, if it's going to take that long, we should go somewhere else.
I'm thinking that this is a shelter in the middle of the desert. Surely, what's his name? Jonathan can hunt us something, and Chuck can keep an eye out.
We're on a recently like blown up public line though. There's going to be someone coming out soon.
Well,
What do you suggest, fellows?
Okay,
I say
so
we stay here.
I just want to clear up what happened when I returned to the carriage we were in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Nerds on the floor, like looking at letters, and you're just like,
yeah, I probably returned with the blunderbuss at the ready to fucking shoot some people.
It essentially looks like these guys are playing Twister on the floor now. Like
they're all like out with books and shit. And it's like, oh, okay. So I lower the blunderbuss and start walking down the carriage towards them. And as it passes over the Nazi soldier, I pull the trigger.
You just shoot him. You just kill him.
Yeah, I don't even slow down. I just keep walking and just execute him as I'm walking past.
All right.
With the blunderbuss?
With the blunderbuss.
That's
why
gotta
I
be
gave you the
messy.
rifle. I need 2 hands, so
The red smear.
yeah, I don't know. Should I roll for that, or was this something that's probably just
man. Like, he's not doing anything. He's not defending himself. In fact,
okay.
Like, if you're given an option to say, like, like a one-liner or something, he's just like, Scheiße. And he just, like, obliterates most of the like, there's now a hole there where he used to be. A smear of, like, just like a corpse, I guess. Like, I don't know what it would be like. It'd be like sort of like a really powerful shotgun, I guess. Just like eviscerating his torso.
Like a chunky salsa.
Yeah. Chunky salsa. Oh, someone
with
spelled
the
salsa
legs
wrong.
still intact, baby.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, and I continue walking down until I get to the rest of the group, and then probably something like, "Fucking hate that guy." Right, where are we going next, lads?
I like the idea that...
And then I just lean over the map, still completely oblivious to what the fuck we're doing in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
I just say, your large friend has solved my single objection to doing the work here. Like, because we were in eye shot of this Nazi the whole time, so now it's just like, all right, well, now we have to work alongside the salsa, but...
Yeah.
I mean, you probably don't want to spend 6 hours in this train car with the salsa in the desert sun.
I also like the idea that another train will come from behind or in front and investigate. You guys are just in there pouring over text while there's just like a dead guy just like dripping and gooping. So it's up to you guys whether you want to stay here or not. I mean, it's getting dark, so like it wouldn't be too far-fetched for you guys to travel through the desert if you wanted to.
I think I would ask Gideon, like, do you have a place here? Do you have somewhere we could go, secluded, that we could work this out?
He says, those gentlemen I dismissed. They're violent, political. I thought they would be a risk, but we can always follow their trail. I forget what you said in terms of the midpoint city's name. I couldn't understand.
Yeah, Ramel. That's where you're going. It's about like maybe about 20 or so miles as the crows fly from where you guys are.
I know little about desert survival, but I know this. The trail will be blown over, so if we intend to follow it, this would be the time.
I know if you get thirsty, you can drink your own urine.
You can drink your own urine, old man. Let's go.
Or maybe we can swap.
I'll find the trail.
It's a poor form for a chap to drink his own urine.
They're drinking another man's urine.
Yes.
Woodbury.
It is technically safer.
Just say Englishman.
Yeah.
All right, well, lead the way, Jonathan.
All right.
Before we set off though, Solomon, old chap, could you take a look at Woodbury, please? He seems to have banged himself up a little bit.
Yeah.
He's
And
been
you may want
awfully
to look
quiet
at that.
about his wounds, but yeah, he looks pretty banged up.
Arm's broken.
You may want to look at that German chappie. He's looking a bit under the weather.
I'm telling you, it looks broken.
I do believe it is broken, yes.
Ah,
Right,
he's a soldier. He knows how to deal with it.
He'll live.
Good. Well, that's that then.
I'll take out just like a dowel rod that I keep in my surgery bag.
Mm-hmm. Like a splint or something?
Sort of, but it's really just like it's a wooden rod, basically. I'll put it up against Woodbury's arm. Actually, I'll take out I still have my belt off from before.
Mhm.
I'll fold it in half, stick it in his mouth. I'll put the wooden rod all with one hand. I'll put the wooden rod up against his arm, and then I'll use my thigh and my knee to basically snap it into place and set it.
Yeah, you get the sound of just like a as you do it, like as you'd imagine. Yeah.
Then I give him a spanking and I say, "Calm down."
And through the I guess the belt, he's just like, yeah.
Well, if everybody is wasting time and letting the trail go cold, I would probably take this time to attempt to first aid myself because I too have been shot.
Okay. Yours would just turn to non-lethal.
Yeah. But I do not have a first aid skill. So...
Okay. First aid, I believe, is intelligence. I could be wrong.
Pretty sure it is.
Let's see. Medicine is intelligence, so yeah. Go ahead. Intelligence -2. Difficulty 5. Mm-hmm. Okay. You can turn one lethal into non-lethal.
All right, cool. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah, I mean, I've still got 3.
So you just Far Cry the bullet out of your arm and just wrap it in a bandage. Your health bar ticks up a smidgen.
Break it.
I actually keep the bullet because I can load that into the blunderbuss later.
yeah. You take your finger and you just go, and you pop it back into place. Like, you video game your way through this. It's
And
fine.
for some reason, there's always a branch in you. Don't know why.
Yeah, Hyde has an actual HUD. Like this whole thing has been Far Cry to him.
Yeah.
All right, so does Jonathan lead the way?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to see if we can pick up this trail.
Yeah.
I also
So
have survival if that helps.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's like a helping thing. I'm pretty sure there is. Let me just double check.
I have survival tracking specialized.
Oh, yeah, well, I'll defer to you then. But I have 7 survival if you need it.
I think there is a way.
Yeah,
to
I'm pretty
offer
sure. I
help.
just want to make sure I know what it is. Teamwork. Okay. Each character with an applicable skill rating of 4 or higher. The character with the highest skill rating makes a roll with a +2 bonus dice. For each person assisting, a maximum of 10 bonus dice. If 3 characters are trying to fix a damaged airship, your character has a mechanics 5, and the other 2 have mechanics 4. You would roll 9 dice. Cool. So, what level of survival, Graham?
Well, he's got tracking, so I think I defer to him. I have 7.
You have 7? Okay, so you can have a
Holy shit,
+2.
you have 7?
Yeah. Because it's based on intelligence. And I have 6.
Woodbury has 4.
Okay. For the most part, yeah, he does. Yeah, 4. Okay, so you get 4 die extra there.
All right. +4, difficulty 5.
Yep. Okay. 5 successes. Yeah. So, what exactly does your specialized track? Oh, actually, no, it's 3. What does your specialized tracking look like?
I mean, at this point, I'm literally looking for.
Those guys' tracks.
Yeah, I mean, it's a desert, and they're on horseback, so there's going to be trail. There's going to be either hoof prints or fresh shit, maybe some blood. Someone was wounded. Probably like step out of the back of the train carriage, look around for the obvious direction they went, and then I'm just rifle in hand, walking forwards, kind of head down, following, looking for tracks.
Yeah. So, what your successes will allow you to do is get a direction, a bearing, right, in the direction that they're heading. So it's without too much trouble that you could follow the bearing, and eventually get to the town. The issue here is less about your tracking ability and more about like you got to walk 20 miles, essentially.
I mean,
As
I
we
think
leave
I'd
the
be okay with
train, I have to stop and speak ill of the dead. So I stop over the dead Nazi and I say, "You looked stupid when alive. You look even more so now." And I kind of look up, like hoping it's bad luck, and then leave.
You know what? I want to give you a star point, not for this, but for the previous thing you did about the mirror, with the soul.
Cool.
So go ahead and take a star point for that.
Thank you.
And I want to give a star point to Doc as well for blunderbussing a fucking Nazi who was already dead for the most part. So waste.
I mean, I didn't want to. I wanted him dead. I tried to kill him earlier, and he just wouldn't fucking die.
Yeah, and
Had my gun this time.
with another star point for Graham for the surgery, keeping you alive, sort of thing, while you give us information. So yeah.
Well, I see. I want to see Gideon do that, and I'll just kind of stop and wait for him while he does that.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. And then
I'm
I'll wait for
following
him.
the trail before it disappears. So
And I want to tell him something. I want to look at him in the eye, and I don't have a very emotional face. But I'll say I find your candor most refreshing.
Not what I was expecting. Okay, great. Yeah, your bedside mannerisms are amazing.
So I am deeply paranoid, so I immediately assume it's an insult. Can I get a read on him? I want to know whether that was actually just some like serious ice burn in the desert.
You want to detect lies, or do you want to do an
Yes,
empathy roll?
I want to detect lies if I can, because
Sure.
because he like he said, he doesn't have that readable of face, so that could have gone either way.
All right, so this will be a 5 difficulty.
Okay.
All right, so you got 4. All right. Wow, see, your 10s are paying off there, man. You got two dice exploded from that, so that's great. Graham,
That was entirely supposed to be a compliment, but I've got all these weirdo characters around, and for some reason, I feel drawn to Gideon as somebody who's like honest about what he's trying to do and his intentions and stuff. So, yeah, his that sort of quiet honesty, that candor is I find most refreshing.
So maybe maybe you were caught off guard by the fact that this is the first time someone has actually given you a compliment for what you would consider like abrasive behavior. For the most
particularly
part.
here. Yeah, he's like, allies are few. I didn't know quite how to take that, but I appreciate it. And he just puts his mirrored sunglasses back on as pop out of the train.
It's going darker and darker, and you put your sunglasses back on. This thing. Time to walk through the desert.
Single tear behind the sunglasses.
Yeah.
All right, so and then we move on.
Okay. I'm just trying to get an idea of how hard it would be to walk through the desert. I don't imagine it would be too difficult because it's more like rocky croppings than sand dunes most of the time.
Right. I was stationed in the desert.
Yeah.
So.
And with your survival being it's so high, I think the people who would have the most problems are anyone who doesn't have survival skills. So we're talking like, I guess Gideon, you, Francis. I guess you don't have any, right?
Nope.
What about you, Charles? Do you have any?
0.
Okay, so I imagine those 3 are sort of keeping you guys from like, hoofing it through the desert as quickly as you can. So I'm gonna say that it probably takes a couple of days of you guys just like I imagine we get like more of a montage of you guys walking through the desert. Like at first you guys are all like wearing the same clothing. Then at some point you guys have turned your shirts into turbans, to keep the sands out of your face or whatever. And what about I think the person who would probably fare the best, most likely, would probably be Jonathan Hyde. What is your demeanor after like the 3rd day when you arrive?
Probably only slightly smellier than he was before.
Yeah. Like, would you be like sweaty or like?
Yeah, he's probably like dripping. He's
You'd probably have the biggest pack of people too, right? You have the heaviest gear that you're carrying. You have all those blunderbusses and rifle ammunition and all that shit.
Yeah. I have a fair bit of junk on me, I suppose. So yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think because he's got he's got his little explorer cap on and he's got his adventuring outfit. He probably handled the heat better than most. Yeah. I suppose Gideon with his grey robes probably help.
Yeah,
his grey whatever it was. It's like a.
Say so. This is better. This is better than the train car.
Can you imagine the smell in that fucking train car right about now?
Like
That guy was minced.
Do you know, oh well, yeah. There's more than one. There was more than one.
Yeah, there was a good collection of maybe 7 departed souls in that train car. So
There was more than one train car we could have found. I mean, I
that's true.
understand.
Yes. Mhm.
We're like walking. I'm like shouting, like as he's walking ahead of me. Yeah, and I've become increasingly irritable. I had to leave my very expensive wool coat behind.
Wait, gentlemen, we left the prisoner behind.
Which piece?
Well, the German chappie who we captured, we left him behind. We should have brought him with us.
You saw Hyde put a blunderbuss to his upper torso.
I did not.
You didn't?
I was not there.
Where were you? If you weren't in the train,
Because I went to go search for him, and then he ran past me and gave me his rifle, and then I kind of I was pottering back looking for a teapot.
I say shut up.
And I suppose you just didn't put 2 and 2 together that where the dude that was injured before was now a bloody mess.
As I walked past him, I like nodded to him, but I didn't notice.
Yeah, so he just like,
German.
All right, then.
Did you get a haircut? Oh, there's a hole through you.
Well, you know, you don't notice these things.
I'd probably just lean in close and go, he didn't make it.
Oh, that's a shame. Oh well, can't be helped. Can't be helped.
Anybody hungry? Is anybody
Yes, starving.
Me too.
So you guys crest a hill
'Cause-
and come over to.
Did nobody bring rations?
I mean, you'd have like some.
He says as he takes a bite out of one of his field rations.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think we're dying of thirst more so over 3 days.
Oh, no one wants to drink by urine.
You're right on the cusp, essentially, of a dehydration, I guess. But yeah, you guys crest the hill, and there's Ramel.
I imagine the Black Hand took my horse, right? Because
Oh yeah, like you just like get out of here, and they're just like, all right, see ya.
then they got my saddlebags, which means like I didn't see what the equipment setup thing was in character creation. It didn't seem like that you started with any wealth, but I think they probably took my food and water.
Yeah, you'd start with $500, but given that,
500?
yeah, 500.
We started with 100, or does he start with a lot because he's pretty?
Wait, it was a 100? Let me check.
I started with 100.
I
I
started
started
on
with
100.
100.
Oh, if you all started with 100, then it'd be 100. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't actually think that we would need it, but I felt like it was the kind of thing that he would have on him is like 2 days rations and a knife and
I
the
mean,
basic
it's
things.
okay. Look, it's pulp. I'm not going to be like, do you guys have food? And the answer is obviously no. But like,
Yeah, I didn't think
I
it was
mean-
necessary, but it felt like something that he would have, so
Yeah.
I made sure to.
I'm
write
not.
it
I'm
down.
not going to penalize you guys for being like, okay, how many rations do you guys have there in your party? None. Okay, well you all die. See ya. Like, it's pulp. Like there's no breaks for eating. There's no breaks for pooping. You don't see those parts. Well, like those parts are implied. We're skipping them. So
Unless it's important to the plot, like someone taking a piss and then they get knocked out.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but if they take a piss, you see a red line on a map connecting them to the toilet.
Yeah.
We all die, but the camera flips over and we're in Hollow Earth. Ah!
Yep. And pee is actually water here, and water is pee. So, like, you know.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, there's the chat. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You guys. So, where's your first port of call? I guess horse trough. Everyone dunks their head in it.
Yeah, exactly.
I like wet my napkin and
I probably
Awfully hot.
fill my fucking hat and just put it back on.
So, out of a scale of 1 to 10, how irritable and annoying was Charles after day one?
8 or 9 probably, but most of it is annoying to Woodbury only. You know, he'd complain about a stone in his shoe or something, and he's like, Woodbury.
But he complains directly to Woodbury, and the rest of us just don't catch the brunt of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's mostly he pesters Woodbury, but you know, he is annoying. He is in general annoying. So, you know, you guys probably catch like a 6 maybe.
Yeah. I conspired with the rest of the party to outpace him slowly so he wouldn't notice.
He's remarkably spry for a fairly old man.
Yeah. But yeah, you guys arrive a little beaten, a little dehydrated. Nothing extreme. So yeah, you've managed to quench your thirst, and there is a Black Hand outpost here that you know of, Gideon. If you wanted to take advantage of that and maybe try and reclaim some stuff of yours.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly would be interested in reclaiming my food and water and my horse, because it feels like that's going to be an asset, even if we just turn it around by trading it for something. You know, the contract did not include that. I'm not miffed at them, but like.
But they did say, you know, to meet you back at the.
They did. I will, if I remember the way, I will sort of generally, when everybody's like soaking and looking slightly better off, I'll sort of lead them over towards that place and just remind them like, these are not long-term allies, but they may provide us some shade, possibly some privacy. Because I keep looking back at Dejarius because he has both pieces of the diary right now.
Yeah.
And while I'm sort of finding, despite myself, that I like him, that I don't want him to run off with both pieces.
Okay, great.
Not only that, I have basically a map, and I'm kind of like putting piece to piece together.
Yeah.
So you guys make your way over. Like, you know, you start to go closer to the fort, the hideout, the fort, whatever you want to call it. And the closer you get, the more and more like you feel the presence of eyes watching you, like from, you know, passers-by on the street, or like, you know, people looking out of windows and that sort of stuff.
It's just like strangers, like stranger danger.
Pretty much, yeah. Like you feel uneasy as you get closer and closer to where Gideon is taking you.
I'd like to point out that I am feeling none of this and just wondering.
Yeah, ignorance. I get it. Your character is incredibly ignorant to everything that's going on around you.
Just making sure.
It's also worth pointing out that you are probably the most offensive to these Arabian people, given that they are literally fighting a British occupation right now, and that is what this revolt is about. So. You know, I don't know. Maybe Woodbury will lean in and just be like, "Sir, it might be best if you watch what you say in the next coming encounter."
I don't know what you're talking about, Woodbury. I'm always very diplomatic.
That's what I'm afraid of, sir.
Well, I'll do my best. Yes, everything will be fine. Stop being such a worrywart.
I make sure to tell Chuck that if he gets us thrown in jail as like political prisoners or something, I'm gonna cut his tongue out.
Oh.
I mean, that's honest, I guess.
At least he's not going to take your hand.
What is your flaw?
I mean, I'd kill him, but I'm not going to tell him that now. I'd just do it after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that makes you the nicer one.
What do you say? What is my flaw? I have one arm.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to remember if it was a social flaw as well. But no, you only took the one. So yeah. Okay. Cool.
I'm following Gideon where he goes.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So Gideon, where exactly would you remember to go? Would you lead them like to an underground like bunker, or like would it be like a house out in plain sight? Like what does it look like exactly?
Well, I would first seek to reclaim I would look for where my horse was tied up.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is that there's some kind of military outpost of some kind, or paramilitary outpost that they brought all of that stuff back to.
Mm-hmm.
I would not necessarily check in with them. I would just untie my horse, not looking like a thief or anything, just leading it, towards some quiet, dark place, including but not limited to if they gave me temporary quarters, and those are still empty, I would definitely bring everybody in there because we need 5 hours of research time. So I don't really want their continued attention unless they sort of force the issue. But I need my water back.
Yeah, your coin has gone quite far. You notice that maybe people talking and running away sort of thing to maybe go get like people to make sure it's okay. After a while of you like, you know, leading your horse to essentially where you need to go, Abdullah will sort of appear. He'll be waiting at the door of your house, essentially, of the little area that's been sequestered for you, essentially.
I say to him, "Hello again. Sorry for the brusque dismissal.
It is your money, friend. I see you've made companions of the Thule.
These are hired hands. The Thule Society found themselves on the wrong end of a blunderbuss. We have these men to thank."
So he'll pay close attention to you, Charles. He'll actually walk over to you and be like, "The others, they are welcome, but these two, no."
Well, easy come, easy go. I'm joking.
Because he's looking at both of them, including Woodbury.
Yep, Woodbury and Charles, yeah.
Woodbury, do you know what he's saying?
So I do believe that he is taking offense to your nationality.
Ah, racist, eh? Well, I don't see anywhere else to go. I intend to stay here. Woodbury, find me somewhere to stay.
So he'll turn to Abdullah, and in Arabic he'll say, "My lord wishes to state that he will cause no offense or harm to you and your companions. He has no allegiance to the current British occupation of your lands. He is merely a traveler with these people." And Abdullah in Arabic will say, "British, allied or not, you are British, and it's not something that I wish to see. I won't be able to stop my soldiers from taking their frustration out on you if you are seen." And Woodbury will turn around and say, "Sir, it would appear that the rebels here, their soldiers aren't as..." And he'll look back at Abdullah to make sure that maybe he doesn't... see if he understands English or not, because he's not sure. He'll turn back and be like, "There'd be a little miffed to see a British man walk around."
Rebels, eh? Who the bloody hell are they rebelling against?
The British, though. King and country.
So I think at this point he'd probably be like, like very blustery. What?
His moustache is fluffing up.
Yeah.
Queen and country. So not king and country, queen and country. Yeah.
Isn't it king and country at the moment?
It'd be king and country, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Is it king and country? Okay, yeah.
I think it's around that time it was Edwards, maybe? King
Oh,
Edwards?
yes. Okay, yeah, it would be king and country then. Yeah, okay.
Or George, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
One of the two. That's preposterous, Woodbury. Why would anyone rebel against the crown?
Well, it would appear, sir, that the occupation of Jerusalem is not going well with the locals.
Occupation? We're bringing British rule to the world.
And Abdullah at that point, he'll like
Shut up.
he'll lean down and he'll like unclick his holster on his pistol, and he'll just be like, he put his hand on his pistol, and he'll just be like, in Arabic, he'll say, "Leave now, or I'll shoot for both of you."
5 hours inside this dark space. Then you keep the horse and we leave. 5 hours.
If either of those two come outside. Like, he's speaking in English now, by the way.
He's Gideon says, "I will put them to sleep."
He'll look at Gideon and look back at the two bumbling British, and he'll just,
I think that Woodbury is very competent.
I think it's very competent.
well, British to him are all like pop 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 pop. So like, he'll click the leather strap back on his holster, and he'll turn back and say, there are men watching, and the first sign of British face.
So I, not knowing his culture super well, I offer him this weird bow.
He'll think it's your culture, and then he'll bow back. Like, he'll like follow suit. Like, okay, he's paying me money. Like, I guess.
Well, that's all settled then. Woodbury, put on the kettle.
And I just like try to hustle him specifically inside as fast
As I'm speaking very loudly in a thick British accent.
Go ahead and take a style point, Sheep.
Thank you.
I feel like the two of us are just trying to make trouble for this party.
Yeah. I'm not trying to get us all killed or even myself killed, but that's how it would have gone. So
Charles needs to be played correctly.
I need to give him his due.
Sheep seems so proud. Yeah. Okay. So you guys, you get your 5 hours. We get the montage of you guys spreading the paper out and, looking like the type of guys that are poring over like maps and like, maybe you're like, you've got like a map up on the wall and you're like pinning things to it and stuff like that. And the result is actually very fascinating. Not only do you guys find like sort of decipher the texts that are in this book, also with no help of Charles and Jonathan. So I imagine you two are like sleeping or something like that, or
I'm not allowed
guns.
to go outside, so yes, I'll
Like, you go outside for a breath of air to have a smoke or something like that, and Woodbury would just be like, "No, sir, please don't."
He goes to have a smoke, and there's a bullet gets fired into the ground in front of him.
There's just like 50 Arabs all in front with rifles. As soon as I walk outside, they'll just level them and cock the rifles.
You're like
I am
Abe Simpson.
actively watching him with the tranquilizer rifle. Like, if he tries to exit before our 5 hours are up, I'm going to shoot him and try to put him to sleep.
I also like the idea of that you're Abe Simpson walking into that the brothel. Where you walk in, put your hat down, you see where you just keep whistling, pick up your hat, and walk out again. It's actually very fascinating. Not only do you find the text, the diary is basically just a recount of actually Sir Wesley spent, from what the diary is stating, spent several months. He recounts like maybe even years of his time in a strange land that he fell into, essentially, on his expeditions. However, it was like where he talked about giant monsters, flesh-eating monsters walking around on hind legs, and villages of people speaking foreign languages, and entire cities powered by crystals and light, and all these sorts of weird things that he was running into are sort of written in this diary in this ancient language that after he's come to call Atlantean. And it goes into detail about how these power crystals work, and essentially think of it as like a traveler's guide to the Hollow Earth, right? If there's anything weird that you guys, if you ever go to the Hollow Earth, essentially find, you can consult the journal that you have of Sir Wesley, and there might be text about it or something like that, or observations, or just something about whatever it is that you're trying to do. There's lots and lots and lots in here. However, if you try and like what are you guys particularly looking for? I imagine it'd be like almost there's two people here that have motivations related to finding access to the Hollow Earth, right? We have Gideon and we have Francis, and you two have do you have it as well, Solomon? Oh, you have your healing thing, right? Yeah.
So I'm looking for a power source of some sort.
Yeah. So actually, there is mention of like medical marvels in the diary as well. So.
My motivation.
Yeah. Is there anything that maybe Jonathan and Charles you would like to see come from the diary to help motivate you guys stick with this group and find the Hollow Earth?
Yeah, I assume there's like.
Well, I'm under the impression that I'm on a mission for British intelligence.
Okay. I mean, maybe we can have a flashback of that, because that's never really been described particularly.
Well, no.
I mean, we did have the undercover agent.
Yeah, the undercover agent was what convinced him that this was a British intelligence mission.
Right. Okay.
Because this kind of thing happens a lot, where he's like,
he just sort of falls into these missions.
Yeah, he gets sent on missions a lot. Like when we first saw him, in that in the jungle talking to the tribal chieftains, that was another one where he was like off on a mission. So he gets called in, something important's happening, he gets whisked off to go and find the hullabaloo of so and so where.
The only thing that's worth mentioning in here as well, there is mention of a companion that he had during his travels, by the name of Daniel Mercer. And there is very little descriptors for him, but he is described as a American who looks like a Nazi, or an Arab. He has blue eyes, blonde hair, fairly well built, and he's described as being his companion through this whole endeavor.
Would that ring a bell as Hans if there was a more in-depth description?
I mean, you can make any assumption you want there. Is there anything that maybe you would like to roll to make that a reality?
Maybe investigation? Does that make sense? Or perception?
It's a good question. Let me take a look at your skills here real quick, Francis.
They're both 8.
Okay, investigation. I mean, I would say, it's not, you don't have a specialization in your investigation right now. So it's hard to state whether or not this description is this man or not. But if you want, we can make a roll and we can see just how likely it is that you believe that, if that's something you want to go on.
I think Francis would just be like, "Oh, that's Hans. No problem."
And now,
whether or not it is or not, I don't know, but that's what Francis would probably think.
Yeah. Gideon, how whereabouts do you sit in the Terra Carnum? In terms of troopage or hierarchy?
Well, so there's sort of the rules as written versus what you would like to do, because I think that if I had any rank at all, I would have had to buy into it with build points. And so my guess is that he has worked for them as a freelancer. He is basically a profiler, an alienist, that would be brought in to deal with abnormal psych cases. And particularly for them, they'd be the ones who are like, is this guy really possessed? Is this guy really under the influence of a spell, or does he have some sort of malady? And so I don't think I have any formal rank. I think I have a loose association with them, and maybe are a little bit concerned about their obsession with the Thule. I have my own, pursuits.
Okay. The only thing that strikes to you is that your handler went by the name of Mercer.
Ooh. So, listening to the translations by the more learned men in the room, I say, this Mercer fellow, he may have used an alias, but he's involved with a secret society that I have done some work for. And then he says, they oppose the Thule. They keep secrets about arcane phenomena. But they behave honorably, at least with me.
Arcane phenomena.
Yes. He looks awkwardly at everybody, and he says, I told you that you seemed special to me. The reason I dismissed those men, all of you glow. You feel free.
No.
I'm glad you noticed the baby inside of me. No.
Yeah.
Well, Will did just spend 3 days in the desert, so we're like nice tan, bronzed.
So feel free to disbelieve. I'm used to that. But I looked at you, and all of you glowed from within. I could see the blood flowing in your veins. I have had such impulses since I was very young. My interest in Wesley's pursuit stems from this. He says, it seems an unlikely coincidence that Wesley was interested in you. Ooh. And my iPad is trying to help. Sorry about that. Interested in you for your skills as mercenaries. He must have known something about this. You are all more than you seem. And he takes off his mirrored shades again, just to sort of emphasize that he believes this. He lies under very specific circumstances and never, if he can avoid it, outside of those.
Do we make a more detailed search on the notes that we have so far of Golden Blood and the Chosen or whatever?
Yeah. Why don't we get a linguist roll here? This will be a 7 difficulty.
Does anyone want to help?
Yeah, I can try.
All right. Anyone with investigation can help. Anyone with linguist can help.
I would have totally rolled investigation instead.
Woodbury has linguistics and investigation.
Mm-hmm.
I have 7.
I have neither.
Okay, so add. What about you, Doc? You got anything to add? To this?
Even if he did, he wouldn't help. He's probably not paying much attention. He's quietly cleaning his guns while everyone's talking about voodoo and hoodoo and glowing blood, not really paying much attention.
Okay.
Charles is having a nap.
So go ahead and add 6 dice to this check.
I am trying to put a disguise. I was trying to put a disguise on Charles while he sleeps. Taking off his Union Jack underoos or whatever he has, and putting a more kind of Lawrence of Arabia garb on him.
I have a little Union Jack in my hat that I've taken out since we got in. And...
Yeah.
Is this the standard 5 difficulty?
No, this will be what did I say? 7? Yeah, 7 difficulty. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Is this with a speciality? No, it's not.
No.
Okay. Wow, you wrote a lot of 10s in that other one. So yeah, with 6 successes, yeah, there are mentions of, I guess, powerful blood, at least in some of the villages that Sir Wesley wrote about. And he's got drawings of, like, he's got like a detailed drawing of like sacrificial altars and stuff like that going, and them using the blood of like the chosen, they're called, essentially, powering their technologies within the villages that they lived.
I guess I'd defer to Jarius then, because like this seems like a weird medical ritual, blood related. I mean, obviously, if we're to believe our new compatriot here, we're chosen, I guess.
I don't know anything about that, but based on what we have here and what our various interests are, seems to me like we have an entrance to find.
Yeah. So the map, the you guys reading everything, essentially you've also come across like the locations of what's described as places of power within the journal that you guys have. Some of them, there's one in the inner sanctum of Jerusalem itself. It mentions Eden and stuff like that. There are others. There's some in the Antarctic. There's some in like the deep sea around the Bermuda. There are places in Australia. There are places in the Congo. And some of these places seem to be ripe with energy, and ripe with what's essentially powering a device that's sort of mentioned in the actual text of the book. But not much is described about it just references the device essentially in the journal itself, and that in order to fuel the device, you need to essentially attune it to a place of power or multiple places of power in order to open essentially the way that it's described for him getting into Hollow Earth or falling into Hollow Earth is he sort of found a cave deep within the Amazon jungle or the Congo that he just sort of walked through, and it closed behind him after he went through. He describes it as like essentially falling into a great abyss. His world went dark and he woke up just drenched in tropical sweat, and the device that he had previously became inert. And his entire journal is just basically a description of him traveling through Hollow Earth and attempting to reactivate it itself.
So with his descriptions, would he have he said people, did he describe creatures as well?
Oh yeah. He described them as very dinosaur looking.
Okay, so I think that would have been what got Hyde's attention.
Yeah.
Like he was quietly cleaning his guns and not really listening until he heard mentions of huge beasts with gnashing teeth or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then he might have like still cleaning his gun, but
paying attention sort of thing.
He's
like...
now watching them.
Yeah.
And maybe would there be a sketch or something? Is that sort of thing in there?
Oh yeah, like there's like he was like his journal is like, this is the MacGuffin, right?
It's
essentially
very detailed where it needs to be.
It's very detailed in the things that you want it to be detailed in. Like, for example, if you're in Hollow Earth and you like, what's this thing? Maybe let's check the journal and see if there's any descriptions about it. Like,
I'll pull out my Pokédex.
Mm-hmm, essentially, yeah. So that's what this journal is. It's just like lots and lots of information. A lot of it makes no sense until you need it to make sense, essentially.
All right, so I think that would be like they'd be talking about it and looking at a sketch, and without anybody realizing, Jonathan's suddenly standing in between them, just looking down at the sketch and fingering the hammer on his rifle.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna take my like pen knife, like a very small, just like a little knife,
Stiletto or something like that. Yeah.
right? And I want to very dramatically stick it into the map,
Mm-hmm.
in where Jerusalem is,
Mm-hmm.
and let's say that's where we need to go.
I say pretty quickly, and looking at you sidelong past the shades, if only we had a map. 'Cause that was my only.
Okay. Cool. So.
Well, I explained that I think that's where we need to go because that's where the Temple of King Solomon is.
I approach learning names Francis, and I say, I don't think we've been properly introduced. Sorry about that. He hands you a business card which ignites in your hand, and it says Imago Gideon, the last alienist, and it just kind of like with the oils in your finger, and he says, is there anything in the text that you can detect about Atlantis? Because he's pretty obsessed with that, and like that it's been mentioned, and the language is Atlantean, but he can't find that himself, and he's like staring at you. Just you see your own image twice, Yeah,
I'm like, well, yeah. It said just civilizations that just completely disappeared in places of power. Atlantis was, the myth is anyway, a place of power. I imagine the Mayan civilization suddenly up and disappeared. They might be there too. Yeah, it stands to reason that Atlantis might be there.
Okay, I walk over to the map, pull the knife out, stab it back in. I'm in.
Maybe it clicks in my head that maybe like Everlife and Eden and Atlantis are like all kind of words that describe the same thing.
Yeah. So it seems you guys need to find an entrance in order to find what you're looking for. Keep in mind that the Thule Society do have basically a copy of this information, but they don't have the keys to unlocking it. That's unfortunately the thing that they're after. So keep that in mind, that this sort of journal, these codex, this information that you have, it's very important that you keep it safe.
Would it be possible, like, how... I guess I'd just be like scrawling whatever I could into my own journal, like the back of the book that I took from the library to hide the German documents when I was picked up.
Yeah. What do you
scrawling as much as I can from like locations, key phrases, and like it won't be like a copy of the Pokedex, but it would be like, oh, this thing, like the jungle, Jerusalem, like the bottom of the ocean, these kind of like places and points of interest.
Yeah. So you can make a copy of them, but essentially, like when it comes to referring, it's think of it like this: if you make copies of this dangerous information and your stuff gets put into their hands, it's still going to help them. Like anything you make a copy of.
Incredibly hard handwriting, though.
Sure.
Francis is not a neat writer.
You're a doctor?
Yeah, well, he's going for his doctorate in history before he got kicked out of Yale. So.
Nice.
Do I have any means of contacting Mercer? Because right now Imago is thinking about telegrams, and because if there's some sort of key, it seems like we expend a lot of resources getting to the door and then not having it, so it's feeling a little blind.
Yeah, okay. That's not a bad idea. So you want to try and contact Mercer to see if you can. All right. What would your normal method of operandus be to try and contact them? Do you like send them a message and then you wait at a spot and they come to you, or like is it incredibly secretive, or does he just like show up and just be like, hey, what's up? Like,
I think they probably. It would seem to me that because it's a secret society, you send a very innocuous telegram.
it's like, the bird is in the hole, and they're like,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. And they tell you to meet with somebody who tells you just word of mouth, like some they send you a consultant basically who gives you that answer and then is just gone from the city, because their whole thing is secrecy above all. So I doubt I can just put, do you have a port key? Stop. Feeling a bit fucked. Stop.
Stop. Found some cool information about Hollow Earth. Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what the 5 hours is up. You guys come out. Are you attempting, like, Charles? Are you allowing Gideon to disguise you?
I was actually hoping to enlist Woodbury to do so before he wakes up, so he can help sell him on it. That it's like, oh, these are clean, sir. That kind of thing.
Mm.
Are you talking about clothing me and?
I'm trying to turn you into Lawrence of Arabia so that from eye shot distance, you don't look as British.
You can totally do that while I'm asleep.
Would you continue to uphold the disguise though? Is what I'm asking.
I probably wouldn't notice.
You wouldn't notice that you'd have a Kashanka?
I'd wake up kind of a bit drowsily and look for a cup of tea and then just get up and carry on. I might notice at some point.
Okay, sure. I refuse to believe you're that incompetent and stupid, but O'Shea.
There's nothing about being incompetent and stupid.
Okay, all right, cool. We'll keep that then. So yeah, you guys all leave the safety or unsafety of the Black Hand militants. I'm not making that name up, by the way. They were actually fucking called the Black Hand, which is like the most pulp thing you could ever possibly imagine. That is history right there. That's actual real life. Some motherfucker made an Arab revolt organization called the Black Hand. It's just like I can't even make that shit up sometimes. But yeah, you guys collect your things. You have a horse. You have change of clothes, that sort of stuff. Like, you guys have all the essentials. You want to send a message? That can happen. Where do you want to say that you want to meet this contact?
I think probably the outskirts of Jerusalem itself, like like a sort of watering hole before the Jaffa Gate, before you have to go on foot, so that we can at least watch over our horses while we wait for possibly days. That's where I'm at with it.
So you guys are in El Ramel. You guys are basically going to, the only real way to get to Jerusalem is by train. And it's going to take it's about 45 miles by train from where you guys are right now, roughly. By the crow's fly, it's probably 30. So, but train in this day and age would probably be the fastest way to traverse the arid landscape that you guys are in. So if you want, you can send a telegram to wherever you send the telegrams to get in touch with your contacts, and you can make way on a train if you'd like. Unless you guys want to try and find something else out before you go. I know, Graham, last episode you wanted to try and find some stuff out. Are you still interested in doing that? You're muted, by the way.
That was more to look for more clues, and I think we found more than I needed.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. So are you guys? How do you guys want to get to Jerusalem? You have a couple options. You could maybe find a jeep, maybe find some camels. You could get on a train. There are plenty of options available to you. Keep in mind that this is a you guys. Palestine is in the middle of a revolt right now, and maybe as you walk around Oral, you hear talk of trains being attacked, and it's getting increasingly more difficult to get into Jerusalem because basically Jerusalem is occupied by the British right now, and outside of Jerusalem they're basically stopping everything from going into Jerusalem. So it's actually pretty tough to do that.
I look at Woodbury and Charles, and then I look at 2 large barrels on the back of a cart, and then I look back at them, and then I look at the 2 barrels, and I look back at them.
So the only real transport that you can get that would be able to transport actual stuff is the train. Driving there would be very hard, but it wouldn't be impossible. It would take a long time.
Well, so be it.
So we take a train to the next town up because we're still like 2 towns away, right?
No, you're not. You skip the middle town.
Okay, so we're like one.
We haven't had good luck with trains. We're actually 0 for 1 on trains.
How far did you say it was? About 30 miles.
30 miles as a crow's fly is about 45 by train. So
I mean that'd be like another 3 days walking in the desert, or maybe a day on horseback.
We only have 1 horse.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like,
We could steal
train
some
would
horses.
probably be the cheapest way for us to get there. Otherwise, we'd have to buy a whole bunch of horses.
Or
I mean, you've already
steal
got
them.
1 horse, so you'd only need to get 4 more horses.
That's too many horses. That's 4 too many.
Woodbury.
Yeah, 5 because of Woodbury.
Well, I mean, 5. Yes, 5. Mm-hmm.
And even still, I don't know how expensive horses are in this. I know there is a section on transport things, but it doesn't really have a price. But I'm not sure that we would be able to afford to buy 5 horses.
I don't
Yeah.
have anything for you either.
The other thing that you could potentially do is you have other options. You have essentially a British agent in your party, and on top of that, you also have made contact with the Black Hand as well. So you do have other options in terms of like how you want to try and get into Jerusalem, or you can just wing it and go by yourself.
I think I'd ask Gideon, like, how likely is it the Black Hand would get us to Jerusalem if we told them we could get in? Because they probably can't get in very easily.
I worry what they would ask of us as long as Lord Abernathy was with us.
Well, that's our ticket into Jerusalem, isn't it?
Possibly their aims are of some concern. Actually, Game Master, what are the Black Hand, like, how welcome are they in Jerusalem?
Well, it's more like hearts and minds of the people, right? A lot of the Jewish people in Jerusalem are being basically pushed out by the British forces that are there. And the same goes for the Arab people that live within Jerusalem itself, like Jerusalem proper. So the hearts and minds of the locals is probably more in favor for the Black Hand. For the most part, it started off as like a non-violent protest that eventually then did turn violent. You're about 6 years into this revolt, essentially, right now. So it's
pretty well established.
It's pretty well established now. But yeah, it started around 1930. You guys are in 1936-ish now, so.
I don't trust them entirely, but the problem we'd really need to solve is him, and I point to Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah.
I fail to see the problem. Holy hell! Who dressed me up like this?
You did that yourself, don't you remember?
Did I?
Yeah.
You said it was all the rage.
I'm sure I would remember that.
No, you were in a frenzy.
Woodsbury, did I do this?
Saw a picture of the King of England wearing that exact same outfit.
Huh.
So, sort of sadly for the situation, Imago just blurts out, "No, I did that to you while you were asleep."
Oh. Well, can't be helped now. Where are we going, chaps?
So what's wrong with the train? Just too long, or?
I think
They have a
that's
habit of blowing up.
And I think that's also a Charles problem as well, isn't it? Like, I
Also
stick
a
out
problem.
a bit.
Well, I thought that the train was less of a problem, like that there'd be more of a mix of passengers there, but then the issue is just when we reach the city, we'd be in a station and you'd be subject to some inspection.
Yeah, there'd have to be some kind of checkpoint, and we'd get stopped, and they'd see a
Right.
British gentleman among us.
I'm going to propose that we put them in 2 barrels and put them in the cargo hold.
Perfect. Well, that's sorted then.
Right. Good. I'm glad we all agree.
All right.
Well, let's go find some barrels then.
There's some.
Perfect.
So
Come along, Woodsbury.
It's like,
in the same
still
barrel
got-
as me. Come on.
He's still got a broken arm.
So you guys, so let me get this straight. The plan is you want to smuggle your British companions into Jerusalem.
Yes.
I feel like this is going to end
That's my plan.
so well.
or at least until we get past any checkpoints and get to Jerusalem proper.
For the record, if anyone comes in like to search the barrels and everything, I'm going to be smoking a pipe, and there's going to be smoke coming out of the barrel.
Well, one step at a time.
I'm just letting everyone know that right now.
So, okay, you guys are in the
Just
barrel.
like sing the most British song you can just to amuse yourself on the train.
Rule
Right?
Britannia, Britannia rules the wave.
So I try to take Woodbury aside and just say, like, how much do you love living? And understand that I will completely believe you if you say you're ready to end it. And like just sort of looking back towards the Lord and so, like, you realize you're going to have to keep a lid on him, literally.
He turns to you and says, I have been serving the Abernathy household for a couple of generations now. My family have been indebted to them for as long as I can remember.
Right, I shove the top of the barrel on and I start hammering.
Ow, my arm.
Right, so let's start rolling. I only have one arm, unfortunately, so I'm very sorry, but I can only roll and it turns, so I need somebody else to help me out here. I'm going to say to the rest of the party, if anybody asks, we don't know them.
Don't worry, I was going to say that anyway. And then I'm going to try and just pick the barrel up.
All right.
Just roll it along the ground.
No, just like pick it up and shoulder it.
Okay. Yeah, so, there's, you guys send a message, a telegram. What exactly do you say in the telegram, Gideon?
Well, I would imagine it would be something, a code of some kind, indicating a need for the location of an object. So something in the.
Well, I mean, you know for a fact that Mercer was with him. You can just probably within the code. Maybe like it's probably safer for you to like ask for Mercer to appear at Jerusalem, but that could take months if he's not there. Or you could try and get information from him by mentioning the device, like have the message mentioned to Mercer the device because he was there. He probably knows what you're referring to.
Okay.
Was the word Jerusalem in the codec? Like the weird, like a jumbled version? You could kind of make it look like a signature.
Interesting. Like I I don't know if, like, because the telegram is you have to get someone to write it for you, and then they send it via Morse code. So there's no way that you could send Atlantean via Morse code. Like,
there's no like English characters to make up that.
No, it's kind of its own thing. So
never mind.
it was a good idea, though. It was a great idea.
Yeah, I imagine that it's along the lines of, you know, cradle of civilization, beautiful. You'd love it here. Not sure what to do. Like that kind of talking around it, so that the telegram itself sounds innocent, but it gives a decent idea of where I am. If there is a Terra Arcanum code for Jerusalem, I would use that, obviously. But I'm not sure kind of what the protocol is.
Do you,
J-Town.
do I know that he's writing a telegram?
Yeah, I mean, he probably would have mentioned that. He's probably trying to, like, I don't know, maybe Gideon, do you say that you're trying to reach out to
Yes.
Hans?
He hates lying, so if he can get around it, he will. He sort of like has been thinking aloud, like perhaps a telegram to Mercer.
Yeah, here's what you say. I mean, if we're going to go to the Temple of Solomon, just tell them that we'll meet at Solomon's place. It is my name. It's not a lie. If anybody asks.
Yeah, I mean, is that a roll kind of thing to see whether like kind of an empathy roll to see if Mercer can reverse engineer from that?
I think this is more like it'd probably be like a linguistics role, like to put it into perspective as to like you want to write in plain English, but you also want it to be cryptic as your intent. Yeah. You want them to be able to read through the lines. So maybe if you and Francis could sit down and like have a conversation about what you actually want to achieve with it, maybe then, like I would say that you could definitely assist with the role.
I think Solomon's actually got a better linguistics than me.
Oh, he does? Interesting.
I think so.
Maybe Solomon, you can write this then.
Yeah,
I can help.
So you would get like what, 4 extra dice on your check here?
Okay.
I would say the difficulty here, considering that you have to like you're basically the only person who really knows Mercer here is, you know, Imago. So you would like I would say the difficulty would probably be a 7 here, with 4 extra dice. Is this a speciality?
No.
No? Okay. All right. Yeah. Like using the diary or the journal and using your knowledge of what Mercer is actually like, you tailor make a wish you were here kind of postcard telegram to the man that hints at your intent, your intention to find the device that was mentioned within the Wesley's journal. You probably don't mention Wesley at all, but a simple, you know, maybe it's along the lines of like, Mercer, stop. Making our way to Solomon, stop. It's very divisive that you come meet us, stop. Something along those lines, right? And you know, maybe we'll see what happens.
I would like to compose a quick telegram to the SIS, my contact in the SIS.
He said
sorry?
He said from the barrel.
Well, before I get in the barrel.
Okay, yeah, sure.
It just basically says, have found something important, stop. We'll let you know when I know what it is, stop. Signed, Charles.
I like to imagine the idea of your name being the most expensive part of the telegram.
Yeah, I do my whole name and everything.
Yeah.
Lord Charles
Cromwell Antibury, yeah.
Esquire.
The third. Cool. Yeah. So, we get a montage of you guys being hammered in, a breathing hole being drilled into the thing with a little cork that you can like pull in and out to like look or whatever. You guys get loaded on.
Smoke out of.
Yep. I like the idea that Woodbury gets his barrel put down and then another barrel is put on top.
Like mine's just sitting there by itself, perfectly fine. And his is like hemmed in by barrels all over it. It's like at the bottom of the pile.
Yeah.
Probably mine's on top of his.
Yeah, most likely.
The super muffled version of the Britannia song is just emanating from one of the barrels.
Yeah. And the camera zooms out of the train as everyone takes their seats. Do you guys have like a separate carriage? I imagine you would have maybe purchased your own carriage or something along those lines. Not carriage, a cabin within the carriage, so you can have a little bit of privacy.
It's probably cheaper to all go in on one anyway. So
yeah, most likely it'd easily sit the four of us.
Yeah, and I think that's where we leave this week's episode. With you guys all making your way over to J-Town, J-Town proper. Let's get some XP flow on real quickly here, guys. Let's see, where can I find? I always forget where the experience page is in this thing. Rules? Is it rules? Oh wait, no. I think I might know where it is. Well, I mean, what did we think of tonight's session? I'll try and find experience while you guys talk.
I am upset that as a fairly combat-driven character, the only chance for combat I had was a bit where we'd all get slaughtered, and I missed last session as well, where there was lots of combat.
I'm sure there will be more combat soon.
Yeah. I feel
guarantee it.
I feel bloody useless.
I don't know, man.
You boffins going into the scrolls and stuff.
At the comedy angle, man, I can't imagine this session without that consistent, just absolute lack of self-awareness. I think that's whether you know it or not, the beating heart.
Yeah.
Cool, found the page. All right, so everyone gets 1 experience point as we're just being part of the session.
Yay.
Characters gain experience point when they face danger and manage to survive. I don't think you were in any particular danger.
I was.
He kind of was repeatedly in danger.
Oh yeah, you know what? I'd give one to Charles for sure. Role playing.
I think
everyone take one. Definitely, yeah. Everyone take 1 for role playing. Gain 1 experience point whenever they further progress towards the goal. I think everyone can take 2 for this for sure. I think a lot of leaps and bounds happened today. And everyone take 1 experience point for wisdom. Definitely. You will learn something vital this session. So, in terms of style points, I want to give an extra one to Sheepdog here for going along with the plot to be put in a barrel. I think that's pretty pulpy. So, yeah. I want to do that. And yeah, that's pretty much a fucking session, boys. Let's do some shout outs. Drummer Boy, let's start with you, my man.
Hey, I'm Drummer Boy. I make music on the internet for shows like Roleplay, Roll20 Presents, and I have my own Patreon where you can support me there and vote on the song that you want, and hopefully within a couple weeks, I'll try to get something a little bit Indiana Jones-esque for the breaks on this show.
Ooh, I like it.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Convincing. Yeah, if you'd like to follow me, and tomorrow morning, actually, I'll be writing the last part of the anime sci-fi Patreon tune live on Twitch.
Are you using Vocaloids? Are you actually doing that?
No, it's too expensive. I looked into it. It's like $200.
What? Really? For a fucking fake voice? I guess they
It's for the-
sing, so
It's
like.
the software, and then they're emulating syllables, and they have different voice packs and stuff. I was trying to get the Hatsune Miku one, like the classic. It's like $200 though, so that's not worth it for this one. But that might be a goal eventually after I get like better orchestral sounds. 'Cause I really need better woodwinds. Woodwinds right now are just hurting. They're so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you'd like to come by my stream tomorrow morning at 10:30 CST in North America, I'll be finishing off the anime tune.
Fuck yeah, man. Anime.
Yeah.
Speaking about anime, let's go on over to the man who is the stereotypical white dude in all the animes that I have ever seen, Mr. Sheepdog Gaming. What up, sir? How you doing?
Yo, I had a lot of fun today with good old Charles. He's completely different from the last character I played, Grant.
Yeah, I'd say
so
that's true.
That's fun. I think he pisses Henry off just about as much as Grant, though.
Not really. I mean, like, you got to understand, I don't mind anything when I'm a GM. Like, to me, you guys being tomfools makes me happy, because at some point you guys are going to get into a Nazi fight and you're going to be like fucking running away, or like, you know, chasing a fucking Nazi helmet down a flight of stairs or something like that. I don't know. Something will happen.
I just feel really bad for Woodbury, to be honest. He's
You fucking made him. And now you're making him be like the fucking butt of your jokes.
It was your idea to make him be covered in barrels. I just ran with it.
Oh, you know, I mean, that's mostly so that you can't, like, if you want to do something next session, you can't just rely on Woodbury to do it for you. So that's
Woodbury doesn't do anything for me. It's,
I'm
the brains of the
No
outfit.
method.
But no, it's great fun. I am going to be, for anyone interested, I am going to be doing a lot of Total War Warhammer 2. So if you're interested in that,
when does that come out?
check it. Comes out on Thursday morning for us. Like, I think it's about 9:30 for you, 8:30 for me. So somewhere around that time.
Nice.
Was hoping to get early, but you know.
Yep. I got you. Okay. Well, Null Speak, my man, Justin, what's up? Let's hear you.
Yeah, I'm Jordan Thomas. You can find me at
Oh,
Null
sorry,
Speak
I
on
called you
Twitter.
Justin. What the
That's
fuck?
okay. That's been happening since I was 5. You can find me at Null Speak on Twitter, mainly talking about work or nerdy stuff, and then also I run Dice with Death, which is a YouTube show. It's permadeath D&D with a bunch of games designers and writers and actors. And the idea is that if you die, the player is actually off the show. And so, we're about a third of the way through the campaign's released footage. So, find me there.
All right. Doc Gast, my man. How's it going?
Yo. I think I'm just glad that I've finally. There's been a narrative way to link Jonathan to the party. Like he's just been kind of bumbling along because he was told to go, but now he's got a reason, and he got to shoot a fucking Nazi.
Yeah, the one that you've been wrestling with your entire life.
Yeah, like the one that I beat up, the one that I fucking stomped on his head, and he still wouldn't die. So I was like, you know what, fuck this. I'm gonna go get my gun.
Nice. And you blew him away. You finally blew him away.
I'm not sure if I was supposed to not kill him or not, because we did save. I mean, his life was saved. Someone patched him up, but I still killed him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, look, Nazis will come and go. There's plenty of Nazis in the sea.
This one was special, all right?
But, I mean, Solomon seems like the kind of doctor who will patch someone up because they're there to be patched up and not care about them after that. So I don't think anyone really minded that you killed them.
I mean, if he dies, he dies.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured.
And it was satisfying. That was a hell of a scene. Just everybody black, red misted.
Yeah, you can find me here, where I do other shows like a board game show. we're doing
Firefly.
Firefly this week.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
well,
gonna be
now
good.
now I'm on the show. You finally decide to do Firefly.
Well, no, it wasn't
Yeah,
that.
pushing
It
I
was,
for
have a
that
chance
game
of
for-
winning.
it wasn't that. It was the last time we tried to do it. It was broken, right? So now it's
Yeah, it
not
was a
broken.
Yeah,
so-
so the dude actually like completely updated. It's got it all new board and everything. It's great.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's
Great game.
Sheepdog. It's called Board Games with Better Bows Regrowth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought it was dumb enough to name it something even stupider. So.
Oh yeah.
And last but not least, we have Mr. Graham Complete. What up, sir? How you doing? Where can people find you?
Graham Complete on Twitter. Always be making the YouTube channel where I make stuff and talk about it. Sometimes it's just music. Sometimes it's lengthy tutorial. Who knows? I do that in my classroom. So that happens. Always be making. That's what it's
Always
called.
be making. Yeah. Nice. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed tonight's episode of Die Party Abyss.
Thanks for running and thanks for letting me crash your game, guys. This was an absolute delight.
Yeah. The more people we bring into being just pulpy and stuff like that is like, for some reason, I'm just imagining your character now. Every time he does like the glasses thing or puts his sunglasses on, he does that anime shimmer where like you can't, you know what I mean? Like,
That would
actually-
please him immensely.
I visualize what's his name from fucking Sin City.
oh
With the
yes,
glasses
no,
that
that's
are
what I was
always
thinking. The
shining.
Elijah Wood
that's
guy.
exactly who I
Yeah.
see. Yeah, Elijah Wood.
Perfect.
That's it.
Yeah, the Elijah Wood guy. Yeah, 100%. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed tonight's episode. If you haven't already done so, consider following the channel and feeling real saucy. Why not subscribe? Get access to the cockpit and the best emotes on Twitch. Hands down, 100%. So it's with a heavy heart that I have to actually announce that Polyrhythm has been cancelled as well. So we do not have a Thursday game anymore, which is unfortunate. Tux just, his heart wasn't in it. That's pretty much the only thing I can say to describe that. So we're probably going to be looking to bring in another role-playing game. I'm considering toying around with maybe even Shadowrun or like Call of Cthulhu or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Get a Warhammer game.
if any of you motherfuckers want to play some Shadowrun, you know what? I'm fucking down for some Shadowrun. You know what? I'm going to look into it. I'm going to see what it takes. I've GM'd a little bit of Shadowrun. It was a fucking nightmare. But then again, since that point, I've GM'd Cyberpunk 2020. So it should be a breeze for me now compared to that shit. So, We'll have some discussions. Maybe we'll put it to a vote, like a community vote for all the subscribers and Patreons and stuff like that to sort of decide what we're going to play. Because it sounds like I'm going to be taking the mantle on this one again. So, which will be fine. Not a problem. Dead Man's Crest tomorrow, which is our 7th second edition. Come back for that. It's going to be great. That game is always a fucking blast. Surprisingly, a lot of fun. That system is different. Very different from everything else I've played, but it's a good different, you know? That's pretty much it. Check out the schedule, ! Schedule in the chat if you want to see what's going on in the week. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Guys, have a fantastic night. And remember, if you see a man with a swastika and a dagger tattooed on his chest, feel free to kill him, I guess. I mean, like, are we all in agreement there? Like, that's
Fuck it, punch Nazis.
fuck it, punch Nazis. Anyways, guys, have a good one. We out of here. Bye-bye.